I don't know if you can hear me, Caden. Welcome, and we look forward to speaking with you all at 8:30. Yeah, if you want to rejoin at 8:30, that's perfectly fine. We're going to be talking about a bunch of other things before then, so whatever you'd like. If I were you, I don't know if you're still here. If I were you, I would probably join somewhere around 8:15, maybe 8:10, just because we tend to move these things kind of fast. It's good to get things done earlier.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. Okay, we'll give it till let's say 7:04, and then we'll get started. Okay, let's do this. What's up, everybody? It's good to see you all. We are getting started with Senate meeting number two. There's a lot more of you now because this is important that we all learn kind of the do's and don'ts of Senate during this meeting so we can translate that when the school year actually starts. So the first thing I'm going to ask you all to do is to turn on your camera. This is a part of attendance. You'll get partial attendance if you don't. I know it's annoying. And as you guys do that, I want to remind you to clock in. So if you guys are onboarded, I know that was a million years ago before in the summer. If you guys are a part of Dayforce and you know what I'm saying when I say that, log in on Dayforce. I know Almas, you said you had a problem with it. For you, I would just put your hours in your log sheet. So all of you, regardless of whether or not you're onboarded, have a spreadsheet on Google Drive with your name on it. Start writing in USG Senate meeting, put in the date, say that we're calling this meeting to order at 7:05, and that's when you're going to put the start time for the shift. Okay, maybe there's a problem with the Zoom. This is what happens when I put it for the wrong time. Can someone put a new link in there for the Zoom? Thank you, Bonnie. Let me share my screen. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, okay, so I called this meeting to order. I called it just a minute ago at 7:05. That's when you guys are going to clock in, and that's when you guys are going to write down for your little timesheets. Okay. I'm going to be doing attendance, and those in red are voting members, and those who are not in red, who are in black, are people that are just expected to be here. Feel free to throw in anything you know. Feel free to give your opinions. You guys actually do have a lot of weight here. Okay. So I'm going to begin a roll call. Okay. Senator Ahmad. Senator Ahmad here. Anything? I know Almas was here a second ago.
Um,
Is she
She
here?
just she did like a thumbs up emoji or
Okay.
something.
I'm gonna have to ask you to talk going forward, but sure, you're here.
You guys can say
Okay.
either present or here. That will both works.
Yes. Okay. Senator Arai. 2 for 2 on this one, huh? Are you here? Sua? Here, guys, y'all, you better talk. I mean, unless you totally can't talk, like speak, because I'm not going to be checking the chat every second. Yeah, no problem. Thank you for letting me know. But you are here. Great. Okay, Senator Dimont.
Here.
Yes. Senator Dunn.
I'm here.
Perfect. Senator Fanner.
Here.
Senator Goldsmith.
Here.
Senator James. Is Kaylin here? Senator James. Okay, we'll give her a little bit. Um, Senator Nakagawa
Here.
here. Senator Pawa. Is Samara here? Senator Pawa. Okay. And Senator Pusha, are you here?
Here.
Okay, great. So once I'm done with attendance, I will look at these people, see if they're not here, and then we'll replace them. Okay. Senator Barkey, and excuse me if I don't know how to pronounce them yet.
I'm here.
Okay, hi Kylie. Senator Kayamit.
Hey,
Hey. Okay. Senator Di Napoli.
Here.
Okay. Senator Alfecchi, she's excused. Senator Iftikhar.
Here.
Perfect. Senator Islam.
here.
Senator Mahmood.
Here.
Senator Maymil is going to be late. Senator Rahman.
Here.
Okay. Senator Siddiqui.
I'm here.
Okay. Senator Simpson.
Here.
Senator Smith.
There.
Okay. Senator Yadav.
Here.
Okay. And Senator Amine.
Here.
Okay. Thank you guys. Now I'm going to do a call again. Senator James, are you here?
Present. Sorry about that.
Sounds good. Good to have you, Kaylin. Senator
Thank
Pawa, are you here? So close. Okay. So what we're going to be doing is, oh, this is so annoying. I'm going to be running a random selection for the remaining senators. I'll disregard those who are excused or absent. Can you guys see what I'm typing, or is it just one tab?
I
We
guess
see.
working.
You can see? Great.
Yeah.
So I love this thing. So we're going to be doing this. Number of names to pick. Senator Islam, you're here, right? Wow. Senator Islam, are you here?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you willing to be a voting member this Senate meeting?
Uh,
It doesn't matter. You tell me. It's okay.
next time. Next time.
Next time, I got you. Okay. Then we're going to be taking you out and we're going to be doing a re-roll. Let's try to move quickly through this. Okay. Senator Iftikhar, can you be a voting member of the Senate meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So we're going to make our name black and we're going to make your name red. Okay, we'll move quickly. These are the Senate meeting minutes from last meeting. Usually when we have a new Senate meeting, we approve the previous meeting minutes from last time so that we can put it out to the public. So I'm going to entertain a motion to approve these meeting minutes, but if you guys can feel free, please look over it. It's basically just what happened last meeting. So I'm going to entertain a motion to approve them.
Motion to approve meeting minutes from 6/26.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Fanner. Okay. Um, we're going to move on then. Is Erica here from AV?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Erica. Nice to meet you. Okay, so Erica is running to be our new director for AV. So what we're going to do, Erica, you're going to get 7 minutes to present. Usually people, and you don't have to present, just you can talk if you need. Um, People usually go under that. and 7 minutes is a lot of time, but I will set a timer, and whenever you're ready, please feel free to go ahead and speak to the senators.
Okay, I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Okay, great. Hi guys, I'm Erica, the newly appointed AV director. I've been a technician for the past academic year, and I'm excited to continue working for the university to help bring students' visions to life through events. To explain what is AV and what do we do, AV stands for audiovisual, and our role is to handle the technical side of campus events that include setting up and running sound systems, lighting systems, and sometimes live streaming maybe. And our job is to make sure events look and sounds great so they can run smoothly and keep the audiences engaged. And um, I think AV is a great contribution to campus engagement because AV support all kinds of events, helping student organizations bring their ideas to life and make sure people feel welcome and engaged at the events we're part of. I'm I would consider myself an organized and dependable person, and I want to make our team a group that others trust and enjoy working with, especially because we're also just a bunch of students. That way, we're not just running events, but we're also helping building a more connected and vibrant campus. And I started in AV last year with no technical background, but I was motivated to learn. And over the year, I've worked on events ranging from small meetings to large scale events. And we're soon to be doing Wolfieland this year too. And I think that's a great improvement, not just for AV, but also for myself. And yeah, so when I started, I didn't know anything about AV. Now I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I think I've learned enough to confidently support events from start to finish. I've gained technical skills. I've learned to troubleshoot in high pressure situations, and I've learned how to build strong working relationship with other departments, organizations, clubs, and yeah, that's what I think I would be a great AV director for next year. That should be all.
Okay, thank you so much, Erica. Anyone have any questions? This is going to be the questioning period. Anyone?
I have a question. I can't find the hand button, sorry.
That's okay. Senator Iftikhar.
Hi Erica, thank you so much for coming. A lot of clubs at on campus use AV, and I wanted to ask, do you have any like plans set in place or any ideas how you're going to make sure that you guys stay organized on your end to ensure that there's a smooth rollout of events and no sort of like backlog? It's super easy, I feel like, with these kind of organizations to easily, be backlogged or whatnot. So I just wanted to hear a little bit about like your organizational methods.
So in terms of organization methods, we always use Google everything to manage our event progress, including lighting queue progress, and then our connection with clubs and how the communicating is going. So I think organization wise wouldn't be a big problem because me and my co-director we're both pretty organized people. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Any other questions for Miss Lee?
Yes, I have a quick question. Hi,
Or
Eric. Sorry you can't see me. My camera's not working at the moment. So my question is, I know you've been a part of AV. Is there something that you think needs to be improved or could be better handled in that like department? And you think the position that you would be given, how would you handle that?
Like some issues we might face next year.
Yes, or anything you've seen in the past that wasn't handled in an effective manner.
I think one challenge is making sure we have enough trained staff to cover multiple events happening at the same time. Because last semester there was there was one time that we had three events happening on the same day, and we had to make sure all three events are covered with the limited amount of staffs. So I think that would be a challenge, but I think I could handle that by training all of our staffs into director level, which is my level, that they have to know how to handle everything so that everyone can just cover everything if any emergency has happened. So yeah.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Nothing? Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you, Erica. We're going to be placing you in a breakout room once I figure out how to do that. And we're going to be super quick and we're going to let you know your decision right after.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah, just give me a second. Lauren, go ahead. Loki, I have no clue how to do this, so I'm figuring it out.
Motion to appoint Erica Lee as AV director.
Stop right there. She's still not in the breakout room.
Oh, I think we put in the breakout room after we do it, right?
Do we? I don't.
No, I think you
You mean
make her
for
leave first.
we make her
Yeah.
leave first?
Before making motions.
Mhm.
Sorry, Erica. This is like the thing that I'm bad at. So I'm going to unshare. Maybe that'll help. Perfect. There it is. Okay, Erica, have you been invited? You gone? Okay, perfect. Lauren, can you restate your motion,
Okay.
please?
Motion to appoint Erica Lee as AV director.
Second.
Second.
Seconded by Senator James. We're going to now enter a discussion period, and all of you can give your input regardless of whether or not you're voting members. So anyone want to go? Senator Goldsmith.
I'm good.
Oh, whoops. Okay, Lauren, did you have anything? Okay. President Alvarudi.
So I'll just give a quick explanation for why I appointed Erica for AV director. So with her experience in AV, she came forward with a lot of ideas for how to improve USG AV, especially the relationship between USG and AV, because our agencies like AV and events management are very separate from us. A lot of the time you don't know what they do or who's in events management or who's in AV. I can attest to that. I've been in USG since my freshman year, and I was not familiar as much with who is who in some of those agencies. Um, so I think that Erica has a lot of fresh ideas to bring in, and she was also the recommendation of our last AV director, who was absolutely amazing. His name was Brandon. So I really think that she would hit the ground running with this role.
Anybody else have anything to add? No? Okay, so then I'm going to entertain a motion to previous question.
So moved.
Any seconds?
Second.
Seconded by someone. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to be doing a roll call vote to our voting members only, and we'll move from there. Okay? Okay. Senator Ahmad.
Aye.
Aye. Senator Arai,
Aye.
Senator Timot,
Aye.
Senator Dunn,
Aye.
Senator Fana,
Aye.
Senator Goldsmith,
Aye.
Senator James,
Aye.
Senator Nakagawa,
Aye.
Senator Iftikhar,
Aye.
and Senator Pusha.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous approval. I'll bring Erica back and we'll move on. It says breakout rooms will close in 30 seconds. And I think she's invited back, but she hasn't answered. So just give that. Erica, do you hear me?
Yep.
Congratulations, you've been unanimously approved by our Summer Senate. Welcome as the AV Director. It's great to have you here.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, feel free to stick around if you'd like, and feel free to go if you need to. Have a
Okay,
great day.
awesome, thank you.
Okay. Okay, moving on. We have two more appointments, so that's what it looks like. This one's cool. So, Ethan, are you here with us right now?
Yes, I am. Hello, everyone.
What's up, Ethan? So this is Ethan, for all of you that don't might not know him. He is our Senate appointee, and linked in the Senate agenda, you can see his different documents, his resume, his secondary application for the handshake form, and also the Senate interview questions and his answers. So, Ethan, we're going to be doing just what we did with Erica, and we're going to give you 7 minutes to kind of introduce yourself to the Senate, talk about what you want to do here and how you might be qualified. And we're going to go into a questioning period, throw you in a breakout room and vote. Okay, perfect.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
I'll start the timer whenever you begin.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Ethan Rothberg, and I'm applying for the position of USG Senator. I'm currently in my senior year at Stony Brook, and I'm double majoring in applied math and statistics as well as economics. Last year was my first year at Stony Brook because I transferred from Suffolk County Community College, where I graduated in 2024 with an associate's degree. Outside of my coursework at Stony Brook, some of my involvements include involved with the Political Science Society here. I currently serve as the event coordinator, a role I started last semester, and I'm also the treasurer of the Chabad Student Club. It's a new role, and I'm looking forward to both of those and hopefully try to make both of those clubs successful this year. Outside of school, some of the jobs I've had. A couple summers ago, I interned for Legislator Piccirillo of Suffolk County. And last year, I interned for Congressman Nicola Lota. And both roles, they both furthered my experience and passion for governance. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to continue working in governance and apply for this role. Going back to Suffolk County Community College, where I served for those years, I served in a few various student government roles, starting from senator, going to committee chair, vice president, and in my last year, president. And my time there was really transformative in the way I developed a passion for student government. And I truly believe the skills and experiences, which I'll go into a little bit later, are directly transferable to this position as USG Senator. Starting out in my first year as president, first and only, when we started, the amount of members we had, including our e-board, was around 10 members. And in the course of just a couple of months, we were able to grow that to around 40 plus members, consistent members, which was the largest the organization had ever seen. And our advisors and deans really credited that to the leadership and the strength our e-board had. We also pushed and were successful in pushing many initiatives during our time there. One of them that we're really proud of was course evaluations. We made great strides and advancements in establishing a college-wide course evaluation at Suffolk, which had been, and this course evaluation project had been stagnant for many, many years. Many student governments before us had attempted it unsuccessfully, but we were able to really get it moving forward. And they're expecting a soft launch date of this course evaluation in the coming semesters. We actually we made a special committee to do research of other SUNY schools and how their course evaluations were structured, and we borrowed largely from Stony Brook Class C evaluations. So I want to thank you guys for helping us out on that proposal. And another initiative that we pushed was we developed and distributed a campus-wide food service survey. And this was aimed at really assessing the overall satisfaction with our dining services at Suffolk at our campus. And from the data we collected, we were able to make a case to our administration that we really needed more food vendors, new food vendors, because our students weren't satisfied with what we had. A lot of students were requesting better halal options. That was probably the most popular item that was requested. And the next semester, our school implemented Halal Hut, which is still wildly successful and popular. If you'd like, I can go into more detail later about these two initiatives or others. I'd be happy to talk about that. But really, from my time at Suffolk in student government, especially as president, I learned so many skills ranging from how to be a leader, but also how to be a team player and a follower when it's appropriate, how to listen to others, make sure others are truly heard, asking them questions in your team, and how to empower others. And I think also what's a very important skill that makes me qualified for this position is working with administration. I know when we're pushing initiatives, dealing with administration, although we do have a lot of autonomy, working with administration and having good relations is very important. It's something I'm experienced in, something I had to do when pushing, say, initiatives such as course evaluation or food service. And I truly believe I am very skilled in being a competent liaison between students and administration. Um, and from my time, I truly believe that I am capable and competent to serve in a student government role. That's pretty much about it with my experiences. I'd like to add one more thing. Serving as event coordinator for Political Science Society and also doing the onboarding process for Chabad Student Club. I'm familiar with how how USG works in terms of making event requests, invoice requests, how PPC works, how line budget works, how all those processes works. I know it can be very complicated, but I do have a little bit of knowledge about it from my experience working on those two e-boards. And I'm sure I'll learn even more as the semester goes on. Like I said, that about sums it up for me. Outside of school, I like to play hockey in the winter and surf and go to the beach in the summer and watch movies. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I'd just like to thank Russell, Sarah, and the whole USG Senate for giving their time and consideration and letting me apply for this position.
Awesome. Thank you, Ethan. That was great.
Thank you.
Okay. While he's still in the room, does anyone have anything to say to him? Any questions? Senator Dimont.
Hi, thank you so much for coming in, Ethan. Your speech was really great.
Thank you.
I was just curious, more less about the past and more about what you plan for the future if you got this position. I saw in your interview questions that you had concerns about how commuter students and transfer students experience the campus.
Mhm.
And I guess I was just curious to know how would handle those concerns that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you know, I feel our voices aren't really being represented as we make up such a big portion of the college. Um, I know Commuter Services runs a survey in August to assess exactly what I'm trying to help is to better hear our voices and help us out more on campus. I could be wrong, but I truly doubt the sincerity and the accuracy of the data they collect. When you open that survey, it's just pages and pages of seemingly endless questions. And let's face it, as students in a very rigorous school, we have more important things to do with our time than answering those types of surveys, even if it's for our benefit. And if most students, I'm guessing, are like me, they breezed through the survey just so they can be entered into the raffle. So I truly doubt the sincerity and the accuracy of the results. I could be wrong, but it's something I'd like to explore. And if it's discovered that they're not really generating accurate results from the survey, I'd like to try a different approach, maybe trying a focus group twice a semester with the same group of students of 10 to 15 students. We'd ask very similar questions, but I believe the benefits of doing a small in-person focus group is that if students are coming and taking time out of their day to come to that focus group, if they're in person, they might as well answer truthfully, honestly, and sincerely. I think the way to get them there would be to offer small dining perks, maybe a Starbucks gift card that could be worked out later. But the benefit of doing a small focus group is you don't need widespread participation. Um, it's something I'd like to explore, and I feel we have the resources to explore it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Senator Iftikhar?
Hi, Ethan. Thank you for coming. My question actually did pertain to your focus groups that I was reading about, so this is perfect. Um, we do have like a lot of committees on campus that are dedicated towards hearing what students have to say, but I guess, the biggest thing you'd hope out of these committees is that it does translate to tangible change. So if these focus groups are something that you're going to implement, what are some ways or some strategies that you have in mind that they're not just conversations and actually get out of the room and we can see the tangible results?
Uh, I thank you for your question. I think it's all about execution. I don't know currently what the follow-up looks like, but you could do all the inquiry, all the connection you want, but it really comes down to follow-up. So I think we need to be what's the word? Um, I forgot, but we have to be focused in how we follow up with those questions, with those committees. I think that's really important, making sure and I don't know what type of collaboration we have with groups such as um, commuter services and administration with these committees. I don't know if it's just student government is doing its own thing and we're not collaborating with them. But I think we do need to collaborate with administration. They ultimately have a lot of power. I know we do too, but they do as well. They have a lot of influence. And I think if we're not leveraging that relationship and using the data that we have from these committees, which you said, then we're not doing the best job to execute on what we hear in those committee meetings and the feedback.
Okay, so awesome. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, Senator Rahman?
Hi, Ethan. Thanks for joining us tonight. Really great speech. You gave us all of your credentials. Really awesome. I just wanted to ask you, um, since you were campaigning this past spring semester, right? Besides your focus groups, are there any other initiatives that you would like to transfer from Suffolk County or any new initiatives you want to add on to our Stony Brook campus, ever since your uh, 1 or 2 semesters that you have been here at Stony Brook?
So My heart does lie a lot with commuter students. And that's what I'm most knowledgeable about. If I am a senator, I'd like to represent all populations, residents included. But what I know mostly is the problems commuter students have. And I was talking a lot with President El Barati about this. Few things we both agree on is heat lamps at the bus stations, if that is within the budget of the college. In the winter, it could get very, very cold and very windy. I think heat lamps would go a long way. Um, Hopefully, we could get Wi-Fi in the parking lots. I know a lot of people, they don't, a lot of even residents who have cars, but a lot of commuters don't feel they have a private and safe place to have a private conversation, whether they're doing an interview, a telehealth appointment with an outside provider, or just a very important phone call that they may need Wi-Fi for. I've had to take interviews in there because I didn't feel there was a professional, I guess the car really isn't professional, but a private place to have an interview. I'd like to see that if that's within the budget. And um, also, uh, coming from Suffolk Community College, they do hold, a special place in my heart. And I'd like to, if we can, to have a more free flowing of information between our student governments. I feel it would be very beneficial to them. Looking back now and knowing just the small bit about USG that I do, um, I feel knowing that information back then when I was involved would have gone such a long way. I know that doesn't really help Stony Brook students, but I don't feel it would be too much of a distraction or take too much time away from our mission.
Okay, Senator James.
Hi, Ethan. Thank you for sharing with us. I know you previously touched on this maybe in my question. I don't know. But I feel like reflection is very important. So I was wondering, is there anything that you learned from being in student government at your previous college that you think you would take here, right? As being a senator?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like I learned so much. One of the important things is understanding the relationships with people within student government, knowing when to be a leader, but also when to be a follower and how to collaborate with a team. Um, I feel it was really important. It was really important for others to be part of the team and to make them feel part of the team by actually listening to what they have to say and not just asking them, because you could ask someone but um, not truly listen to what they're saying. But by asking others what they think, giving them time to explain themselves and implementing their ideas, not just the ideas of those in the higher branches, whatever they may be. Um, Let me think of try one thing else. I think I also learned what it truly means to be a representative of students, talking with them throughout the year. Just because we're in student government doesn't mean we know everything that's going on campus. I think there's always a chance to talk to students, actually see what they're going through and hear their concerns, and then develop initiatives throughout the year to try to help and alleviate those concerns.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, any questions wrapping up for Ethan? Anything? Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Ethan, for speaking with us. I'm going to throw you in a quick breakout room. We'll do some discussion and we'll bring you right back when voting is over.
Sounds good. Thank you, Russell.
Of course. Okay. He is in a breakout room. Do we have any motions on the table?
Motion to appoint Ethan Rothberg as a senator.
Second.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Senator Fanner. Anybody have any discussion points that we want to go through? Senator Rahman?
I just wanted to point out about Ethan. So the past spring semester when election season was occurring, I was campaigning alongside him for a couple of days. And, I wasn't initially paired up with him. It just happened to be we had time to meet up and campaign together. And right off the bat, he's such a motivated individual. When he was speaking to all of the students at SAC, he knew what he wanted. He would ask questions about what is there you'd like to see in as a change at Stony Brook University. He knew what he was talking about. It was very clear he had a lot of confidence. It exuded in him all of the experience he had. I just through a quick conversation with him as we were cutting out flyers. Uh, you know, I could feel a lot of confidence from him. And so if he were to become senator, I feel like he would do a fantastic job and a phenomenal job.
Thank you, Masha. Anyone else have any points? This is a position. All of you guys are going to be working with this person if he passes, which is great. Senator James.
Yes, I just wanted to say, I think he has a ton of experience that I feel like us who are already senators and us who are new to the Senate can learn from and gain some insight on different things on how to approach this, new territory. And then I loved his how he answered the question because we all have to work together. Teamwork makes the dream work. So
Thank you, Caitlin. Anybody have any last points? Senator Fanner?
Yeah, I've known him since like the beginning of the school year. We had like a lot of classes together last year, and he was always someone really motivated. And he's just like a nice guy to be around. He's super sweet, which obviously like when you be working with someone is nice. And then his past experience as the Suffolk County Community College president is like incredible experience. And he really knows like what to do, how to do it. So I think he would be a great pick.
Okay, and I almost forgot, we do have a ledge vet rep, Senator Yadav. Do you have anything to say on this?
Yeah, so firstly, he has great experience with student leadership as such, working as the president at Suffolk County Community College, and he's done great initiatives over there. He's really big on student feedback, which is important, and does initiatives based on that. And then, even since being at Stony Brook since last year, he's been actively involved in multiple student multiple student clubs, e-boards such as the Political Science Society or the Shabbat Student Group. And he does have a good understanding of USG workings, and his initiatives do promote focus on improving student feedback methods, which is good. And while I personally see value in his commuter and transfer issues, I do note that his platform could be broadened a little bit to address a wider range of students, but that can be done over time. Overall, I personally believe he does have the skills and experiences to be an effective senator, and he also passed the legitimate vote.
Thank you, Gatik. Any last minute comments, any motions? What are we thinking? Okay, then I'm going to entertain a motion the previous question.
Motion to previous question.
Second.
Okay, thank you guys. So we're going to be doing a roll call vote just like before. For any of you who are new to Senate and you weren't at the last meeting, this is just kind of how things go. We make a motion, there's a second, we talk about it, and then we return to previous questioning, which is basically we're going to go back to that original motion. Okay, so I'm going to go down the list of voting members and we'll go from there. So Senator Ahmad.
Aye.
Okay. Senator Arai.
Oh, aye.
Okay. Senator Dimont.
Aye.
Senator Dunn.
Aye.
Senator Fanner.
Abstain.
Senator Goldsmith.
Aye.
Senator James.
Aye.
Senator Nakagawa.
Aye.
Senator Iftikhar.
Aye.
And Senator Pusha.
Aye.
Okay, thank you guys. He has passed. I'll bring him back in right now. Okay, so clearly I'm terrible at Zoom, or just nobody's responding to my invites to come back. So give it 20 seconds. Ethan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, congratulations. You've been approved by our Senate with 9 ayes and 1 abstention. Welcome aboard. It's really great to have you. We were all very impressed with your experience and the way you handle yourself professionally. Feel free to stick around or feel free to come at the next Senate meeting when we see you next.
Wonderful. Thank you, Russell. Thank you all in USG Senate for your confidence and support. I'm really looking forward to this year. And yeah, thank you.
Okay, great to have you, man.
All right, have a great one.
Okay, that's 2 down, 1 to go, guys. So we're going to be moving on to our last approval of a staff member. Anshita, are you here? I believe you were.
Yes, I am.
Okay, I heard you. I can't see you. There you are. Hey, what's up? So this is Anshita, guys. She is appointed for our USG recording secretary role. That's the person that takes meeting minutes for Senate Live, and they're very important in documenting what we do down here to the general public in college, you know? So, what we're going to do, Anchita, is I'm going to give you 7 minutes to introduce yourself, talk about your experience. You know, you're used to talking about this with the different interviews we've been through. So usually we don't take 7 minutes, but feel free to take up to that, and then we'll move on. Okay, so whenever you start.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Anjita. I'm a sophomore. I'm a rising sophomore, and I'm majoring in business. I'm minoring in political science, and I'm also on the pre-law track. So I think what makes me a great candidate for recording secretary is my experience and the skills that I've had in the past. So I work at this legal call-in center where I am usually used to taking notes on call. Um, I have people coming in from Nassau and Suffolk County, and they need like some legal assistance. So I usually get them on call, write all the important details down. I talk to the center attorney and convey all the details that I just collected on call. And I like usually communicate between the center attorney and the people who come into the call center. I think that has sharpened my active listening skills, which I think is very important for the role of the recording secretary. Um, Apart from that, when I was talking to Russell, he said that well during the Senate meetings, it's usually like sometimes it gets fast paced, and it's really important for me to like pitch in and say that guys, you need to slow down because it's sometimes really hard to take in the details. Even though I do have the meeting recording, it's really important to focus on the live meeting minutes as much as possible. So he said that he would need a strong voice in that, that I can say that you guys need to slow down, and so that I have all the important details. I do feel like I do have that strong voice, because I have, apart from this legal call-in center, I do have other experience in crowd management, where I have had to speak up about guiding conversations and just talking with a lot of people and handling conversations in general. And apart from that, I did mention that I'm pre-law, so I do have a general interest in the government and the political process. I'm also really interested in decision making, just like so additional point that I just like added right now is that I joined the meeting early on because I wanted to be on time, but also I really had interest in the conversation that you were having about Ethan right now. Really interested me, and since I do have an interest in overall the government and how USG works, I do feel like I will be more giving like more attention to the details because of my general interest, and also like learning a lot, and also learning will motivate me to be more careful about my role and just motivated for the job in general. So um that's it on my behalf. I do not want to bore you guys a lot, but you if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask and I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions for Anshita? Senator Fanner.
So, thank you so much for coming in. How do you plan on staying on top of like getting the meeting minutes finished and completed? In the past, not in last year specifically, but like there has been issues that the people supposed to be doing minutes fall behind and we end up not having any meeting minutes done like in a timely manner, and then clubs might get upset. So how do you plan on staying on top of it and making sure it's all done fast and like efficiently?
Great question. Thank you. Sorry, Russell did mention that it had happened before. So I will make sure that I'm there at every single meeting. And then I do have a very strict timeline about when I get things done. I have a very organized Google Calendar, and I make sure that I get things done because I usually am not behind on my work anytime. So what I do is make sure that I have the live the the details of the conversation as much as possible in the live meeting, where I'll make sure that I'm there throughout the uh, meeting time, and I'll make sure to get them done by the weekend. And I do believe that the meeting minutes are due by Monday, so I usually have weekends free. Um, and in general just have a very easy format to follow for the meeting minutes while writing them down, because do when I checked the meeting minutes from last year, they were getting a little complicated with the symbols and the bullet points and everything. So I just want to have a simple format for everybody to follow, for me to follow, so that I can make sure that the details are in as much as possible and are easy for me to organize as well, so I can get them done on time.
Thank you. Senator Yadao.
Hi, Anshul. So you did mention in your resume how you've been working at a legal clinic and have experience with like listening to people's queries and noting down and keeping information in mind. Just to go further up on that. So considering that the job is typing based and have to keep up with the fast timelines of the Senate meeting, do you have any experience with in that specific role where in situations where you have to type much faster, or you have an idea about your words per minute typing speed or something like that?
So typing experience, I do have to say, in the clinic itself, we work with uh, applications like Customer, where we do have to put in notes for customers as they speak fast. It's usually the calls are usually very fast paced because the clients that come in don't really know that we're writing things down and writing the details of their case down. So I do believe that it is also fast paced, and it's really difficult to tell the client sometimes that it's us who are like writing down the details and coordinating with the attorney, because the attorney is not always available to talk to them on call, sorry. So I do think that there is a lot of typing involved, but this role but the work, work sorry, the job at the legal call center, I think, is the most relevant experience that I have. And also in general, taking notes in the class, but it's really fast paced. Yeah, I think that's another experience, I guess. But I guess most students do have that. But I do believe that the call center is the most experience I have.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any questions, any comments for Anshita while she's here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
what's up, Kaylin?
I have a quick question. Thank you so much for sharing. My question is, do you have like a set process or way you would go about like handling like the different tasks that you have? Because let's say your schedule conflict, scratch that. The question is, what does your schedule look like? Do you have a lot of time in your day to focus on writing minutes and typing?
So, apart from classes, the only other commitment that I have, is my role on the e-board of my dance team and another internship that I'm doing. But all of those are on the weekdays, and I do not have anything for the weekend. So I have the whole weekend for dedicating my time to taking down the minutes, whether it be like improving notes from the live meeting or from the recordings.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I see Amar has a question. Guys, he is not a senator, he's actually our deputy chief of staff. So can anyone yield to him from the Senate?
Yes, I'll yield to him.
Okay, thank you, Kaylin. Amar, go ahead.
Hi. I just wanted to say thank you for coming. And just a quick question. Do you have an approximate like words per minute that you usually go at? I know that's not the only thing when it comes to the writing minutes, but I think it's a big aspect.
I do know that it was 10 words per minute for the like qualification, or oh sorry, it was 30. I'm not sure, but my speed is usually 75. So yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, and by the way, it was not 10 words per minute in the thing. That would be interesting. Senator Rahman.
Hi, Anchita. Thank you for joining us tonight. Great speech. We love to hear everything that you have done in the past and how you would apply it to, your potential role. Just a general question. I'm not sure if this was covered or not, but as your role for scribing, is this just going to be for Senate meetings or is this for like any types of USG, like executive council meetings that you would be a part of as well?
I was told that it was only for Senate meetings, but I would be open to recording minutes for any other meeting if that is included in the job, and I would be more than happy to do so.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
Any final remarks for Anchita? No? Going once? Going twice? Okay. Thank you, Anchita. We're going to be putting you in a waiting room and we'll do a little discussion and a vote and we'll bring you back whenever. Okay? Perfect. Let me just take a second to assign you. Is she still here? Do you guys see her? I think she might be frozen on my screen. There it is. She disappeared. Okay. Um, any motions? Before any motions go, I wanted to say that during her interview, I gave her a 10-minute section from last Senate meeting. We have a Zoom recording, and I made her take live meeting minutes on that. And for reference, she also has the Zoom recording for later that she can kind of finish up any little edits she has to make. They were good meeting minutes, and especially for someone that didn't know anybody's names or didn't have as much experience with legislation or budgeting. I mean, she did have legal experience with legislation, but not specifically to USG. She did a really good job. So I think that personally, I think that when she gets to know how things work around here, um, it'll be much better. But don't let that influence you, whatever you guys think you think. So any motions on the table? Okay, I'm going to entertain a motion to approve Anchita for the USG Recording Secretary role. Are there any comments?
So moved.
Any seconds?
I'll second it.
Okay, great. Discussion. Anyone? We have a Ledgevet rep. I'm going to go with Gotik first on this because we voted on Ledgevet for this.
So yeah, we did vote on Anshita as well, um, and I believe it was unanimous. And but as far as the discussion goes, she does know, like she has previous experience, and her words per minute was good enough. And as Russell already said, that she did write down the minutes of for a previous Senate meeting, and she was good with it. So I personally believe there shouldn't be a problem with that. And yes, for sure, with experience, she'll get more used to it.
Senator Rahman.
Based off of her experiences, it's very extensive. And, while on call, she wouldn't really know, the other end's information as well. So she's multitasking a lot. She's trying to actively listen to the conversation. She's trying to respond to the conversation. And she's also trying to record all of that information. It's a lot of things going on. And, she's also trying to participate in that conversation. And so I believe that, based off of what she has explained to us and, her motivation to do this, I believe that she would be a great candidate for this position.
Any other comments? Any other discussion points? Anybody? Okay.
Motion to
Any
previous
motion?
question?
Thank you. Any
Second.
seconds? Perfect. Any dissent? Okay, great. So we're going to now be doing a roll call vote with our voting members, just as we did before. Um, let's do it. Okay, Senator Ahmad.
Aye.
Okay, Senator Arai.
Aye.
Senator Dimont.
Aye.
Senator Dunn.
Aye.
Senator Fanner.
Aye.
Senator Goldsmith. Senator James.
Aye.
Senator Nakagawa.
Aye.
Senator Iftikhar.
Aye.
And Senator Pucha.
Aye.
Okay, it's a unanimous confirmation. We're going to bring her back however long it takes. In the meantime, do we have anybody from Black Women's Association in the Zoom right now?
Yes, there are 4 executive board members, including myself.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. We'll be moving pretty shortly. Okay, is Anchita here?
Hi, Russell. I'm here.
Hi. Okay. Congratulations. You were unanimously approved by our Summer Senate. You've now been appointed officially to be our recording secretary for USG. And yeah, thank you so much. You can feel free to go or stick along, whatever you'd like. Anchita will actually be taking these
Much.
meeting minutes after the Zoom. So
Thank you so much. I'd love to stay, but it is currently 5:30 a.m. in India, so I'm sorry I have to leave. But it was really nice meeting all of you, and I'm excited to work with you.
thank you, and go back to sleep. Okay, so now we're going to move on. So what's next in our Summer Senate agenda was the Black Women's Association Financial Bylaw Review. How should we go through this? You guys, the e-board for Black Women's Association, do you have anything to present, or do you guys have anything you'd like to say first?
Yes, we have a statement that we'd like to share.
Of course. Now, I suggest all of you look at the details we shared with you in the Senate chat regarding just the information, but I'm sure Bonnie can catch you up here during the meeting, and also our e-board members here in Black Women's Association can catch us up. They do some really cool stuff on campus. You guys should check out their Instagram too. Okay, whenever you guys are ready, go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, esteemed members of the USG Senate and Executive Council, and thank you for providing Black Women's Association with the forum to appeal our budget. Today, we want to address 3 main concerns regarding the budget cuts and suspension placed on our club. First, the issues being used to justify these penalties were the actions of a previous executive board member who is no longer part of our organization. Second, the timing of this decision. And third, because we had no prior warning, our established plans for the academic year are now in jeopardy. Our goal today is to make clear why holding the current e-board responsible for past mistakes and doing so in such a large manner is both unfair and damaging to our club's ability to function. While USG has taken time to address the ways in which the previous leadership failed to follow its regulations, the new leadership has been actively planning and preparing for the upcoming academic year. We have already secured dates and venues for major events that serve the Black campus community. Receiving an email from USG in August, less than 3 weeks before the semester ends, about possible financial repercussions is extremely inappropriate as it overlooks the effort the new e-board has invested in ensuring that last year's issues are not repeated. Not to mention that we followed up on the email in a timely manner to ask about specific logistics of this meeting, and we received a response about those details less than 48 hours before the day. This behavior reflects a troubling disregard for Black clubs and organizations on campus, despite the significant contributions we make to the second least represented population on campus.
Okay, thank you for that.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
I'm
excuse me.
sorry. Go
Yes,
ahead,
we're
go
not
ahead.
done. In the email sent by the USG treasurer, it was explicitly stated that Mame, the former president, was believed to be responsible for the purchases in question. It is neither fair nor equitable to impose the consequences of a former leader's actions on the current e-board's leadership and experience. These matters should have been addressed during the academic year in which they occurred, rather than delaying them until the new leadership is in place. Suspending our budget does not help us learn from our past mistakes. It only penalizes those who were not involved. A more appropriate approach would be to allow us the opportunity to learn and move forward by meeting us halfway, especially considering that such circumstances have never once been committed by our organization prior to this incident. With the support of faculty, including Dean Ricardo McClendon, Vice President of Student Life, Sebastian Adams, and the active participation of the Black student body, it is imperative to emphasize that we cannot achieve our goals for the year, including our 10th annual Blackout event, our GBMs, and our annual fashion show and banquet, which together cost over $20,000 in funding this past semester. If our budget remains suspended, we ask that you reinstate our budget of $12,000 as it has already been deducted. Our organization has provided a safe and supportive space for Black students on campus for nearly 50 years. Suspending our budget would directly harm essential experiences for the Black community, especially incoming Black freshmen. While USG claims to take pride in fostering equity for all students, this action will send the opposite message. We will not remain silent in this matter. We will not remain silent on this matter if it's not addressed appropriately.
Is there anything else that you guys have with the statement?
No, that was the conclusion of our statement.
Okay, thank you guys so much. If you wouldn't mind, if that is written out, I'm not sure if it is, would you mind emailing it to me so I can include it in our agenda? You guys touched on a lot of
Absolutely.
good points. Yeah, and I'd love to show it to the Senate so we can use it. I appreciate that. Okay, while we're here, does anyone have any questions for Bonnie or BWA? I know this is a complicated situation, and I know you guys might be confused here. So ask away. There's plenty of good questions to ask. No questions for DWA or Bonnie here.
Yes, I have a quick question.
Okay.
If you hear me, yes. Thank you guys for presenting. So I'm just curious. Did no one from the past core four, right? Is anyone here currently from the past core four?
I am.
Did no one knew about the situation or was aware of like what was happening, what the current president Mame was doing or whatever they did? No one?
I take full accountability for not paying closer attention to the financial bylaws and ensuring that all of our e-board members were doing so. However, the issue at present has been the JP Morgan Chase cards being inappropriately used.
Mm-hmm.
I If your records also reflect, and my memory serves me correctly, I only picked up the JP Morgan Chase card perhaps 3 times for BJ's, for Chico's Tex-Mex, and for Domino's, and they were returned promptly. Those major expenses were for our fashion show, and the card was not picked up by me. And the card was left in Queens by Mame when she had a car accident, and that was an extenuating circumstance outside of my control.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Rahman.
I am also curious, but thank you to the both of you for presenting your case. Based off of the information we have been provided beforehand, and in addition to what you have presented tonight, you make a lot of strong cases right here. And I'm also curious, as Senator James has stated, I just want to know, again, the treasurer is overlooking all of the expenses of the club. Was the card not in possession of the treasurer at the time? And that's question number one. Question number two is when the e-board did find out um, about like these inappropriate charges, what kind of actions were taken to confront Mame, your previous president?
Could you repeat the question? You broke up for a majority of it, please.
I'm sorry, I don't know if we can hear either of you. So, um, I believe you said, can you repeat your question? Is that what you said, Kaden? Yeah, I think there's some audio problems. I'm going to ask Maisha, can you quickly repeat your question?
Oh, sorry about that.
No,
Um,
yeah, it's fine.
I had two questions for tonight, but firstly, I'm not sure if you've heard the whole thing, but thank you so much for, presenting your case. You make a lot of strong points, things that we might not have known about before. But I have two main questions. The first question is, who was in charge of using the Chase card? Was, the treasurer is overlooking all finances of the club? Was the treasurer not in charge of these finances? Number one. Number two is, when these inappropriate charges were found out about, what kind of actions did the e-board take against your previous president?
We were not advised, well, to answer your second question first, if I may, we were not made privy to these incidents until through July. I remember 2 instances where I found out where we were notified that the Chase card was inappropriately used. One main occurrence was for the parking ticket. Oh, my mic isn't working.
Yeah, there's some audio issues. I don't know if anyone else from the e-board wants to address it while you get that fixed.
To answer the second question, I believe Kaden was saying that we weren't made aware of the inappropriate use of the card until way later. Um, I'm not sure if her mic is working now, but I believe that's what the first part of what she was saying was.
So when were you made aware of these charges?
Me personally, I board, but I know me personally, I wasn't made aware until you guys sent the email about this meeting.
Okay, sorry. I just can't hear properly. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry, this is frustrating. I know for everybody when there's a lot to talk about and the mics don't work. Kaden, can you try speaking one more time?
Hello.
Yeah, so I don't think it's working on your end.
Is it?
Very barely. The voice is a little grainy. Can anyone else from the e-board either answer the question or can you try reconnecting like Sebastian said?
Okay, so I can also second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Kaden, can you please mute your mic then? Perfect. Thank you, Miracle. I know this is like annoying on everyone's
No,
part, so I
no, it's
appreciate
fine.
it.
I can also second that the rest of the e-board was not informed about what Mame did in a timely manner. I would say that I knew about the information towards the very end of the semester, like very, very end, when she was on the path of graduating. So yeah, as for the first question, I can't really answer because I did not serve as treasurer, but yeah, I can say that we were not made aware in a timely manner, which is why I stress the point of it not being fair for us to like deal with the aftermath of that, especially because she is graduated and it does ruin the experience for all the new EBOR members, especially considering that five of us are um only five of the current EBOR members are passed, whereas there's 13 of us. So about eight other people are going to have to suffer with dealing with past actions.
Thank you for answering, Miracle. Yeah, I just wanted to ask because uh the last question would have been if they had graduated or not, which you answered already. Because I feel like that should be something that affects graduation or the ability to do so. And I can definitely see your point as well as the rest of your keyboard. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Maisha. And we're going to try to move a little quicker with the questions so that everybody gets a chance to speak and all points can be addressed. Senator Fanner, you had it up a while ago.
Yeah. Hi. First of all, thank you so much for coming. And I want to clarify that right now, suspension of budget isn't on the table. So right now, like our goal is not like removing all access to your budget from your club. A probation would just be like a limited access, but you still have full access to all the money in it in your club budget. And then my question is that since the clothes bought were for an event, did no one in the club like wonder why these clothes were bought and provided if an invoice hadn't been approved to buy them?
Hi, I'm this year's treasurer. I was last year's public relations. And to answer your question, a
Can you
lot of
hear me better? I joined from another device.
Yeah, we can
so
hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Olivia, can you finish your point then?
yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sorry, can you actually ask your question again?
Yeah, if the clothes that were bought without an approved invoice were bought using your club budget and provided for the fashion show event, I believe, did no one in the club question how they were like bought and what invoice they were bought with within the club itself?
So a lot of the decisions made by last year's president were done like on her own, and she didn't really
Hmm.
communicate with the rest of the e-board, so there's no way we would have known when she used it, how she used it.
Hmm. And do you know where those clothes are right now?
I don't.
You don't? And kind of like additionally, one more time, um do you know, like going for that when an invoice is approved, they have to get the approval of the core four of the e-board of the club? So like treasurer, president, vice president, secretary all need to sign off on it?
Yes.
Yes. And then I just have a question about the parking ticket as well. When you're like online ordering something with USG funds, they order it for you, like online. They don't give you the card information to put in to like a website. So I was wondering if any of you guys know how it got saved to your phone, since that is not authorized use of the PEX card anyways.
I think again, we just wouldn't know because
Mm-hmm.
Kwame being president does have access to like the Chase card as well as the treasurer, I believe. So I think her going to check out the card to use it for whatever she did use it for, it's not like if an invoice was already made and it was already signed off by the rest of Core 4, she doesn't, I guess, necessarily have to check back with Core 4 when she's actually
Mm-hmm.
going to make that purchase with you guys. So if she was using it inappropriately, it's not as if she was coming back to tell us that she was using it inappropriately, so we wouldn't have known these things.
Mm-hmm. So I guess what like I'll add to that is that I understand that and that especially in clubs, like presidents can get very controlling and not like share as much information with the rest of the e-board. But each individual invoice that's used to like buy something needs to be approved individually or like as a group, but like you can't use a PEX card and go off and buy somewhere else. And I understand that it's not necessarily the fault of anyone like in the club at the moment if it was the president who has graduated to use. But kind of one of the reasons behind like a budget probation, and someone might have just said this in the chat, would be to like educate new members of the club, new e-board members on like the appropriate uses, like how things are supposed to be run, which like we understand can get lost like throughout time as like e-boards change and people start like going off and not necessarily like sharing down and passing down like all the correct information. So like a budget probation is not supposed to be like punitive in any way. We don't want to like hinder your ability to like host any events at all. So like I just want to let you guys know that like we all like what your club does. Like we all support you guys and we just want to make sure like it's operating in the most efficient way. So thank you so much for responding to these questions.
I just had a follow-up question, I'm sorry, about what you said, if possible. Um, just about like the probation. So you said it like what exactly would it do? Like, is it just like if we were to use our budget, is there just like extra steps we would have to go through? Like, can you just explain a bit more on
Yeah.
what that would entail?
So the specific steps would be that like you guys would come to us again with like a pre-written budget. Like you guys are going to plan to spend this on this, like in this for this event. So it's basically like what a probation budget was in. So that's what like a probationary budget is like we pre-approve what you're going to spend. So it's a little bit less freedom than a typical line budget, but like you would still be able to buy everything that like you were planning to within your budget. And yeah, we might Senate might discuss if like more punitive things would be added, but at the moment like that is not on the table yet. But like I don't believe like anyone's gonna take away a full budget. So thank
I
you
want to
and good
also
question.
I want to also add on. We are here for the clubs, and sometimes while some miscommunications might happen, at the end of the day, all of us want to stray away from conflict. It's clubs that, especially big clubs like BWA and these cultural groups that bring a lot of energy to our campus. So a punitive measure is something that we're going to be kind of hesitant working with, and probation is certainly not that. If anything, we just want it to be a learning lesson from last year. Um, I'll move forward with that. Senator Iftikhar, do you have anything to say?
Hi guys. I don't have a question. I just wanted to address something I heard you guys say before. I've been hearing um, a lot of narrative along the lines of that USG didn't make you aware that there were violations or that you guys didn't know if something was against the bylaws. But I just want to remind you that it is the club's responsibility to be aware of the financial bylaws um, semester to semester. And it is also really important to remember that bylaws are constantly changing. It is each and every club's responsibility to be aware of what they can and cannot do. And we have treasury office hours, and all senators like emails are open to the public. And so when there is any sort of hesitation in regards to what you can or cannot do, it is always better to send an email or just shoot a quick question. So just please be cognizant of that, and please make sure the current core four is aware, as well as your up and coming e-board for the next year. So this is not something that repeats again. Yep, that's all. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Unless you guys have any comments to what Manal said, I'll move forward to Senator James.
Yes, thank you guys for coming today. I just had a quick question. So, of course, you guys didn't have anything to do with this because you didn't personally do the penalties or whatever was done last year. I just wanted to emphasize that core four, you all should just be on the same page moving forward, right? So that everybody knows what's going on, what's being purchased, and there should be some great communication. So I wanted to ask, how will you ensure that a situation like this doesn't happen again as you move on to this new school year and have your new board and everything like that?
So as communication was a major issue in the last leadership, we have already, as core four and also with the extended e-board, we have already prioritized communication since the ending of, as soon as we knew the members of our current e-board, the president and I decided to seriously prioritize communication and just informing everyone what is expected. Um, and just working together as well. So yeah, prioritizing communication. But I do want to ask a question. Um, so being that our budget is $12,000 and I stated that, fashion show and banquet alone, we spent 20,000 the past semester. How exactly do you guys believe we will be able to make sure that we host these like those events for this academic year with our budget now?
So I can jump in here, but I'll also open the floor to Bonnie if she wants to respond too. We know you guys do really great things on campus, and that's going to definitely be a consideration when we come up with whatever we do. So all of that will be bear in our minds as we vote, as we discuss, and as we consider you guys. You guys are an amazing club, and we need you on campus doing what you do best. So that will always be an informed decision. Bonnie, do you have anything you want to add?
Sorry, I wasn't too focusing on the Senate. A lot of senators had questions.
That's okay.
Could you repeat
Okay.
that, or was Russell's answer good for now?
Miracle, do you want to repeat your question or should I leave it at this?
Yes, I can repeat it. So, being that we spent $20,000 on two major events, our club's major events, this past semester, how exactly do you guys believe that we will be able to accomplish um, these events with our current budget now? How exactly would that be possible?
Yeah, so um you can still use your budget, like line budget towards those events. There's always grants available for events. For events, yes. There's event grants, there's week grants available. Also, like with your fashion show, you should always um reuse the supplies that you got in previous years as well. So yeah.
Okay, any final remarks by BWA or any of our senators? Anybody here at all?
Excuse me, is my audio working better right now?
Yes, it's great.
Oh, thank God. Really quickly, I just wanted to ask, since my connection was cutting in and out on several different devices, I apologize for that. But is this probation year long?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
it would be until the end of the academic year.
Thank you.
So then after, during spring budget weekend, will you guys come and then you'll share everything that, happened and we'll go from there and reevaluate everything?
Yeah. So like next spring budget weekend, it would just be basically as if you were just on line budget this year. So, like if everything went smoothly, then it would just be like the same as usual.
Okay, before we move into discussion, Gatik, Senator Yadav, I'm sorry. Did you have anything to say?
Yeah, so I just had one question from the club. Uh, so did you guys know about the charges happening, or did you say the fact that the president did withhold information from the club as such? So you guys didn't have quite a lot of times you guys didn't have an idea what was going on or what was being done by the president as such?
Yes, we were saying that we had no knowledge of what she was doing.
Can I have a follow-up to that?
If I can add on, moreover, when we received two emails regarding these transgressions occurring, I then reached out to the former president for clarification on it, and she then told me to forward the emails to her so that she could solve it. Then again, removing me from the chain of communication and demonstrating that she was involved in a majority of it.
just a clarification. So you guys didn't know about any of this until you guys received an email from the USG, right?
No, we did not.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm sorry that I didn't add this before because of my communication issues, but we were granted extended use of the credit card to go to the mall because there were multiple delays on treasuries and I can't remember the name. Auxiliary, I believe, and in processing our invoices up until the day before our show. And it was then a necessity that in order to completely do our event to its best ability, that we were able to go to the mall. So we were granted that by Lisa, I believe. And moreover, for the invoices that were already put in, once I put the invoices in, I already had knowledge of that money that was being spent. Anything that was spent on that card, I have no knowledge of. I had no knowledge of, especially because shortly after our show on April 26th, I believe that the deadline to spend the rest of our club's money was the 28th. And because I had finished our invoices for Black Women's Weekend, I had no idea of any money that was being spent past then because, to my knowledge, we were done spending our budget.
Thank you, Kaden. Senator James.
Hi, I have a quick question. So when you were granted that access to go to the mall, excuse me, did Lisa tell you any specific stores that you were able to go to within the mall? Was there specific places that you were supposed to go to?
I can refer to the email to see or see exactly who it was, if there was even an email or if it was just a supposed text, but I can see what exact language was used.
Yeah.
I don't believe she specified any
But even just to add on to that as well, I believe it like if there was an email about like specific stores, I believe it was our past president that did go to the mall with the card. So again, it was out of our control if she decided to stick to those guidelines.
Okay, I understand.
If I could add on to that, it's like so BWA did, come to us for many late invoices, and we always did try and push it through as much as we can. But I'm also well aware that BW was also well aware that there is performance wear caps, there's apparel caps in place, which wouldn't there's like a few invoice requests, particularly for Amazon, that we allowed you guys to overspend on those caps, but we didn't, if anything, like we didn't improve on any of the clothes um invoice requests because your club was already over the apparel and performance wear cap.
Yes, I acknowledge that we were over the apparel and performance wear cap, and we were also aware of that, and thus, before we even spent the money, we reached out to you saying that we were fine being liable for the penalty. So we were aware of that. We also tried to meet with the Senate to appeal that bylaw and try to
Or
get
your audio cut out.
forget it.
Maybe try again. I don't want to drag it through, but no? Okay. Does anyone else in the e-board want to speak for her? Do you want to type something out? I don't want to prevent you guys from communicating what you need to. Okay. Um, while that's being figured out, I'm going to ask Senator Yada, do you have anything to say?
Yeah. So, as someone mentioned before, as one of the e-board members mentioned before, that there were multiple times where the president was taking actions on their own, and the president did take actions on their own without informing other e-board members, and there was lack of communication and transparency. So just a question to that, with this knowledge being available to all e-board members, wherein there was lack of information and communication, and how the Article 8 of the BWA Constitution for the year 2024-25 does have uh, grounds for removal based on impeachment. That is, I think, Article 8, Section 1. So was there any discussion about moving forward with this because of the fact that the e-board did claim that there were instances where this has happened before as well, wherein they didn't have information about what the president did, and that violates certain sections of responsibilities that is written itself in the Constitution.
Any response from
Hi,
BWA?
sorry.
Sorry.
I have Kaden on FaceTime with me and she would like to respond.
Sure.
Okay, the question was is where decisions were being made.
We can't hear it very well. Do you mind holding it up to the mic of your laptop or your
Yes.
phone or whatever?
Hold on. I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, we'll try to make it work because we do want to
Okay.
hear what she has to say.
Kaden,
Yes.
can you guys hear her clearer?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Was the question were there any other instances where decisions were being made by a former president that the rest of the executive board wasn't made aware of?
I'm sorry. Can you guys hear her? She,
Yes, we can. Gatik, do you mind repeating your question very quickly?
Question was someone from the board earlier specified while answering the question how there were multiple instances before, not specifically the card as such, but to the fact that the president perhaps in other manners.
One that I can state specifically is when our end of year brunch
Uh,
was, can they not hear me?
can you guys hear her?
Yeah, please continue. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
One instance I can name is when we were trying to submit last minute invoices for our end of year brunch. Before our president even submitted the Ask Me Engaged, I explained to her that it was past the deadline. And I understand that this is she said, and there's no way to verify a conversation that went between us. However, I did then go to the USG office and I spoke to Bonnie and I sat in the office for several minutes while she approved those invoices for Stop and Shop and such. We ended up canceling the event because it wouldn't come together. But I, aware of that deadline, had voiced to her that we wouldn't be able to do the event without facing penalty, and she thus went on and started it without me or put in the plans to do it.
I see. That's actually that's a good point, and I appreciate you communicating that. Senator Fanner, you have anything to add? And
Oh
guys,
yeah,
let's
I
try to
wanted.
one sec.
Oh.
Let's try to be a little more concise with our questions and ask things that haven't been asked before.
Mhm. This has been asked, but like I think it's kind of gotten muddled. So like you guys have said that you guys got permission from Lisa to buy the clothing additionally at like the PEX card, but you guys also said like you guys didn't know it was being bought. So like can we get like a really like clarified answer about like if the club knew like the clothing was being bought or if like the club didn't know?
I don't think everyone on the e-board knew. I think it was Olivia that answered it before. I think she said no because maybe she was one of the people that didn't know.
Hmm.
I heard that been given permission to use the card, so anything of it, I just assumed that it was approved. But like I said before, if there was any like guidelines or anything with that specific purchase, um, that we weren't made aware of. It was just our president that went to go out and buy those things.
Hmm. And what was your position in the club last year, if you had any?
Last year, I was the graduate advisor.
Graduate advisor. And then Kaden was the treasurer last year, right?
Yes.
And then I don't know if you still have her on the phone or like I know she was been having connection issues, but so did she know about like the purchases, even though like the invoice wasn't approved or submitted? Did she know those purchases were gonna happen?
Can you put me closer to the
Yes, Kaden is on the phone.
Okay.
Hi. Sorry, that was just a test if you could hear me. Regarding these purchases, when I put in the invoices, I rarely knew what I really knew about the arrival of a package that we put in an invoice for until I then saw the materials at a GBM. When it comes to packages, especially because of our fashion show, there were so many coming in at once that often several e-board members of varying positions would then go pick it up and bring it to their room. There was no one common space where they were all being held, so everybody had their own knowledge of what exactly was had and such and such. I believe that our president probably had the most concise and concrete knowledge of that, and so I didn't find out until I arrived at rehearsals for our show, maybe 11 or so, that she had then gone to Roosevelt Field Mall to try and supplement the clothing that didn't arrive with clothing from the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't hear from her or to her on the phone for the duration of the day until she came back with Windsor and with Windsor bags and from other locations.
Mm-hmm. So, where in this timeline does like contacting Lisa and asking for extended use of the PEX card come into play?
Looking at the email from my end, I see that the email was originally sent to request extended use of the card for in-store purchases, April 26th. I believe that was that Saturday at 1:20 a.m. She then emailed to ask for a follow-up from Lisa at 11:07 a.m. And then Lisa then responded at 12:37 p.m. I can forward this entire thread to you.
That would be great if you could have access to that. And in the thread, did the former president mention like any invoices that this would supplement because packages didn't come or anything of that sort? Like why was it thought that like despite invoices not coming in, that like the purchases could still be made in store?
There was no official number made for, there was no official invoice number attached in these emails. It was just general providing the names of the vendors that we were ordering from.
Okay, thank you so much for answering these questions.
Okay. Thank you guys for answering the questions. Kaylin, I'm going to finish off with your question if you have any. Otherwise, we're going to be moving into discussion.
I just wanted, it was not a question. I just want to say, please, in the future, moving forward, make sure that everyone knows their roles and the president or some other person is not doing someone else's role, because then it gets chaotic and confusing. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you, guys.
Okay. It's okay. So if you are in BWA, do you guys have any final comments to make, or should I throw you in the breakout room? Okay. If you guys are in BWA, please raise your hand in the Zoom so I know who to put specifically into the breakout room.
I just had a question. I'm not sure if oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes, what's up? Can anyone hear her?
No, I can't hear her.
Okay. We'll give it a second. Olivia,
I just
are
you guys
you?
were
Is it my laptop that's not working here? Okay. Let's see. So you said it in the chat. I just wanted to know the timeline of when the decision would be made. We'll be making a decision in a couple of minutes, hopefully. We're going to be voting on it. And we'll try to take everything you guys said into consideration, as well as the thread you might forward us, and as well as the statement that you guys would forward us. Okay, perfect. So all I see here is Olivia and Miracle and Wani Ang. So I'm going to put you guys in the breakout room, and I really appreciate you guys talking to us.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay, you guys have been invited into the breakout room. So Okay, is everybody gone? Someone tell me. Okay, I'll assume yes there. Is and maybe excuse me if I don't know who this is. Is Donna Lee in? No, okay, I'm going to assume no then.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to leave. Let me go. Have a good
Have a great day. Okay, guys, so I assume we're clear now. Um, Before we move into any motions, when I say, are there any motions? These aren't final, and these are going to have lots of discussion, and I imagine this will take a lot of debate. Let's try to be concise with our arguments. Let's try to be nice, and I don't want to say nice in a way that doesn't command respect, but nice in a way that we realize this is a club on campus that does great things. In fact, it's a kind of a big cultural group that does really great things on campus. So bearing in mind all the information you guys have, feel free to ask each other questions, but we're gonna start by, I'm gonna ask for a motion and we're gonna work from there. Okay? So any motions?
Just clarifying, this is a motion for some sort of like the course of action, right?
Yes.
Okay, then I would motion to keep the club on probation and require in-person trainings regarding financial bylaws and those such matters.
Second.
Okay. So we're going to
And
move into,
additionally, just a repayment of the 1,300 that hasn't been repaid yet.
is there a second on that additional info too?
Second.
Second.
Second. Okay, let's move into discussion. So anybody, I hope you guys have comments. So anybody have any discussion points they'd like to make? Okay, Senator Iftikhar.
Um, I just wanted to say something just very generally, just because I know a lot of people are new, just to kind of set the tone for when we have these kind of budget discussions in Senate. I understand that like for new senators, implementing any sort of punishment, even if it's just probation, which is still a complete retention of the original budget, can be intimidating. But I think it's one thing to just really keep in perspective when we're having these discussions is that all of these budgets and each and every dollar does come from students. And I'm sure you already all know that. And like in a time where Pell Grants are being cut, financial aid is being cut, and students are struggling to pay for college, every single dollar, no matter where it is, we are responsible for making sure that is allocated properly. And so I just don't want anyone, I know it's a new thing, to feel intimidated about giving a club any sort of punishment, even if it's something as light as probation. It's really important that we're not only dealing just with this organization, we are dealing with the monetary amounts of the entire school and their fees. So just something to keep in mind. I think probation is appropriate. It's very itemized. They retain the entirety of their budget. It's simply the extra steps of going line by line about every single item they have spent on. And I do believe that will improve fiscal responsibility. And like Sophia said, we do need to be reimbursed for that 1.3K because it does need to come back from somewhere. Yeah, just please keep that in mind for future situations like this one and this one as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Manal. Senator Yadav, any other points?
Oh yeah, so throughout the whole questions, their whole point was the fact that how they were how the president was the person at fault, and now the current board members shouldn't be held accountable for it. But do consider the fact, and they shouldn't be the ones who should be facing a problem because of that now. We should do consider the fact that at the end of the day, the e-board does represent the club, and actions taken by any member would should be considered as actions of the club as such. Because if they had any information about that, they could have moved with impeachment of the specific e-board member. And the fact being that if we go with this, like in a situation like this could be done by any other club then, with any wherein any graduating president could do the same, and the next year's e-board members could defend on the same part. But at the end of the day, as I said, it should be based on them representing the club, and there should be some something done about that specifically. Other than that, as Lauren also pointed out on the chat, that this is not the first issue that they've had. They've also had issues before wherein they falsified attendance or some and stuff like that. And even with the part, so I also feel that at least the amount that they spent and they had no receipts for should be reimbursed, that being the $1,300.
Senator Fanard, is your hand still up from before?
No, I have a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
I also think like probation is the best. I don't want to punish the club in any way. And I think they post like some great events on campus. And although they do have concerns about if they can even like do all the events with their budget with grants and such, I definitely do think they can. Um, with the issue of like how they're gonna reimburse that 1,300, I honestly think that if last year if they stayed within their given budget, that even though they might have gone over on like performance wear or a specific category, we should just kind of forgive them and on probation in the future make sure they like stay like aware of what they're supposed to be spending on and like what they are allowed to spend on.
Thank you, Lauren. And for my knowledge, the reimbursement of the about the 300, the $1,300, this would come from their line budgets, no? This
Yeah, I
would.
think so, but like
No, it wouldn't. It will be
oh,
their own payment
oh.
You mean
because line
individual
budget,
students?
like line budget is still students' money. Like you can't use student money like to repay something that we already paid for.
So you mean out of pocket of the e-board? What are you suggesting?
Well, in the bylaws, it does say it should be out of pocket. I don't see that there's a exception for that. I don't like, but you guys
Let's
take a
try to
look.
find that bylaw. Let's try to find that bylaw. That's important. So, wow. Okay. So what I'm going to suggest then, if that bylaw is the case and that they would have to do this out of pocket, a line budget reduction would be greatly preferable to this. I assume you guys all feel the same. Let's try to find the wordage there. I believe, Bonnie, you said it was in the financial bylaws? If you,
Yeah, it's like at the very end, towards the
it's
end
at
of
the
it,
very
like
end. Yeah, I remember
third
you said. So
one.
I would be willing to amend my motion if that's the case.
let's
You
find out if
can,
that's the case first.
Okay.
So, for all of y'all knowledge, because this will be important in the future, it's on our governing documents page in our website, the USG website. You can click on the financial bylaws. It'll take you to a document, and it's pretty well like tabled so that you can see any of these additional. So let me know if you guys see anything. I'll be looking right now. And Kaylin yields to Christine.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm in my car, so I don't know how the service is. But yeah, this was the same discussion that we had with ASU last year. We gave them the option that if they didn't want it to come from their line budget and gave them a timeline when they needed to get it done by to fundraise or whatever, that they could. But I forgot which under it was that I asked earlier. You have no authority to hold individual students accountable, and you can't require that. So and you like you just and we didn't do this and we need to be consistent and like even it doesn't if your financial bylaws don't say that you need to require individual students to pay you for anything. You only have authority and jurisdiction over clubs. Yeah.
Now, Christine, that was a little bit stuffy, but I think we get your main theme here that we cannot charge individual students in the way that was previously suggested. Um, I don't know. I don't know if maybe the audio will be better this time around. Can you touch again on the fundraising option that you gave them from before? I think that would let us have a more informed decision.
Can folks hear me?
Yeah, maybe a little slower.
Sorry, I also talk fast. All right. Maybe if I disconnect from my CarPlay, is that better?
This is great. Yeah.
Okay, great. It was my CarPlay that was the issue. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I'm all in support of a deadline of when it needs to be back by, or that it would, or that, if they choose the fundraising route and not having it come from their line budget. I can't recall the specifics of what we did with ASU last year of the timeline, but again, I think we should be trying to be consistent here. And that was the most recent precedent that we set in that regard. But I would give them the option And then some kind of a timeline, and that by a certain point, which obviously giving yourselves plenty of time that like you could still deduct it from their budget and they haven't spent their budget and like, freeze their budget if they're coming close to the balance that's still owed, so that you can ensure you get the funds. But that would be my suggestion.
Thank you, Christine. And for all of you that haven't met her, Christine is the SEA director. She's an amazing help here at Senate. Okay, so to us, it seems like there's kind of two schools of thought here, and correct me if I'm wrong. We can either kind of make them fundraise that $1,300, or we can take it out of their line budget. Now, if you guys have opinions there, feel free to share them. We're trying to work together here on a solution. So, um, I'm going to say Senator Iftikhar. What's up?
I think taking it out of like, okay, so first of all, Bonnie said in the chat, we're not like with ASU, for the new senators, we had like an issue with ASU last year and we basically cut out an amount from their line budget. But since we, don't know or have any evidence if they use it on their personal items, again, I don't think it would be fair to charge them personally out of pocket, which I think we already have consensus on. I think cutting the line budget by 1.3K would be best because that, I feel like if you were to do a fundraiser, sometimes that puts pressure on a club when they go in with the mentality of, oh, we're doing this not for our club, just to, pay back USG and that's it. And it might help them go in with more of a clearer head if they just, have this bit of a cut budget now and can just like move on from the whole issue. Should I, well, no, never mind. I'll just let more discussion. Yeah, that's really it.
Okay, so Senator Maymill told us and that from the bylaws, it states that any violation just like this would kind of be charged from their line budget from the following academic year. Now, there is the rule that Senate kind of has jurisdiction over how we can employ this punitive measure, whether or not we can make them fundraise it, whether or not we take it out of their line budget. I'd be very open to hearing opinions here. Senator Siddiqui, we haven't heard from you today.
Hey, so I do agree with Manal that we should be taking it out of their line budget instead. Their current president was their last treasurer, and even though they tried kind of putting the blame on their past president, everyone pretty much has the same amount of they should have all been aware of what was going on. So I think that taking it out of their line budget, it kind of gives them the opportunity to just move on. It's like as if they have a smaller budget and they can just go plan events, move on, instead of trying to come up with all these things to try to fundraise their the money that they have to pay back to USG. And it wouldn't be much of a it wouldn't be they would just they would I feel like be more um I guess they wouldn't really take it seriously. It would just be like, okay, so we just got to raise this money. Let's raise the money, pay back USG, and move on. But I think it would be much better if we take it out of their line budget.
Senator James.
I just had a quick question. I don't know if anybody can help me, but let's say we do have them fundraise or they choose to fundraise it. Would we have like a deadline? Because I know that's a lot of money to fundraise for, and a lot of clubs can't do that immediately.
Yeah, that
I
would
would
bring
say,
up.
I would say
Oh,
like if you want to go with that option, like you can take it from their line budget and they fundraise for their events instead.
I see. I think we should give them the choice personally to give them as many options as possible. What Christine said, I agree.
can I ask a question to Bonnie? So hypothetically, if we did give them the choice, I don't know if this would overcomplicate things, but would we give them the option to pay a certain amount out of their line budget and then fundraise another certain amount? Because that would almost be kind of the best of both worlds.
We like Senate could, but also like just to like reiterate, like in the financial bylaws, like when it says being reimbursed, it doesn't mean that it comes from line budget. It means that it's coming from out-of-pocket costs. So like if
Okay.
we were like being strict and we wanted to follow through with the financial bylaws, like any unauthorized purchases using the Chase One cards or purchases that do not have any receipts, clubs have to pay us back with out-of-pocket funds and not line budget funds. But that is only if, you know, you want to be really strict on them and follow through the financial bylaws. And right now we're talking more like an exemption already.
Senator Fanner.
I honestly like don't like the idea of giving them a choice because last year we gave ASU a choice, and I don't know if many people here know the ASU situation, but basically there was like personalized merchandise bought for like ASU as a club and it was already sent and they hadn't paid for it yet, and it was like a discussion of whether they should pay out of pocket or like USG should pay, and we gave them the option. And they did choose to take it out of the line budget plus an additional penalty. And I do think that like at the end of the day, 1,300 is like a lot of money for like students to like pay out of pockets, especially students who might just be on the e-board this year and not have had any involvement in a previous year. And it also is like in a way a lot of money to take out of their line budget. Last year, I think the line budget was in the 20,000s. This year, it's almost half of what it was last year. And 1,300 is also like a lot from that. I think it makes most sense if we have to punish them like in a way this year to take it out of their line budget, but at the same time, I think like to help them as a club and like grow and learn how to operate, it would maybe be best if we could find a way to like forgive it if they stayed in budget the previous year, just so like they don't have any hardships in hosting events, which is something they're already concerned about like a lot right now.
Lauren asked this question earlier about over budget. They went over budget by 750 700 wait, $750.
Then maybe we could just like take the difference out or something like that so that they don't have like a huge burden on them. Because like I just like in a way it just sucks to like people who like a lot of those eBoard members like are returning and then a lot of them are brand new at the same time.
Senator Iftikhar.
If we give them the choice, then do we not also need to decide like what date, again, I think Senator James brought this up, what date they need to pay them by if we do give them the choice and they choose hypothetically the fundraising option. So should we just ask first and then go from there, or that's just something to put on the table?
Senator James.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So I don't know, just suggestion. We would ask them, and I think Christine also said something about a timeline, which I think is important. So we would most likely, if they choose to do the fundraising, we would give them a timeline or something and tell them, oh, maybe installments might be the best option in this amount of time. You have to pay this amount of money, or they could pay more. But I think that would help us stay organized and keep track on, oh, this is happening and so forth.
Senator Rahman.
Honestly, if we are going to, create a precedent for the clubs and hold all e-board members accountable, but then, making them reimburse from the e-board members, right? And I would assume it would be from the core four, then I feel like it really singles out individuals. And if we cannot hold the previous president accountable, who are we to tell, the people who had, yes, they were not aware, they did not abide the financial bylaws, but we cannot assume people's finances as well. As Senator Iftikhar had mentioned before, this is a time where not only is our like financial aid getting cut, but everything is being cut. It was cut weeks ago, just weeks ago. So we cannot put this amount of pressure on just a few individuals, right? This is just 1,300 now. There could be also another individual down the line who can spend way more than 1,300. We cannot expect four individuals to pay more than 1,300 as well. 1,300 is a lot in of itself. So in terms of, having individual people reimburse this amount, I don't think this should be on the table. Instead, if we want the whole club to be accountable, this should be on behalf of the club and not just a few individuals. That's all for me.
Thank you, Masha. I want to hear motions. So if anybody has a new motion and we can discuss that, let's go from there.
Motion to give Black Women's Association the option to either pay the 1,300 through their line budget or through fundraising, with, of course, a proposed timeline of when they would need to pay the money back in either installments or whatever way we end up deciding to do it.
Any seconds? Any dissent?
Wait,
Okay.
I'm sorry. If I
What's
say
up,
this,
Manal?
can I change the motion or like I forgot?
So there hasn't been seconds on this one. So we can either re-enter discussion or you can propose another motion.
Okay. I can do that like right now.
Go ahead.
Okay. Motion to cut 1.3K from Black Women Association's line budget, which comes out to around 12,555, I believe. I believe around that number, but
Any seconds?
Second.
Okay, any dissent? Okay, we'll move into discussion for this motion. The motion would be to cut that estimated 1.3K from their line budget directly. Now let's enter a period of discussion for this. Does anybody have any points they'd like to make about this? Senator Dimont.
Just curious, Manal, would this cut from their line budget also still include the probation? Or would the only punishment end up being the 1,300 cut?
I think the probation is fair because again, that like also incentivize like they've had this exact like this issue with, where are they spending money? Where are the items coming from? So I think like implementing that as well would also just incentivize them to be hyper aware of each and every dollar they're spending on every item. So just to clarify, my motion was saying I want to maintain the probation, but add that line budget cut of 1.3K to reimburse, essentially.
I would be willing to just amend my motion from the 1,300 reimbursement to 1,300 line budget cut and just make it easier.
Okay.
And then
Okay,
you could just second it. So
I believe the motion is to put them on that probation for the academic year. Would this involve in-person financial budget training, or would this just involve the 1.3K?
I would want the in-person training too, just
Okay,
because like
Yeah, me
that,
too.
yeah.
is that a motion?
Yes. So motion for the 1,300 budget cut, the in-person financial training, and the probation for one academic year.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion, any dissent firstly? No. Okay, any discussion points? I saw your hand was up, Senator Rahman.
I just wanted to point out in the chat, as Senator Dunn has stated, cutting the budget doesn't really restore the money that was lost in the first place. USG is trying to get this money reimbursed, and I'm sure that, yes, like we want to make sure, this money comes back. I am definitely for, the in-person financial training. It's definitely necessary because even with the quizzes that are sent to the e-board in the beginning, oftentimes people could check online or just, quickly scroll through it instead of properly digesting that information. So if you're in person, it can really ensure or at least increase the engagement of the digestion of that information. So I don't think that only cutting the budget it kind of gives them a big leeway instead of like understanding like there is a consequence to the actions of the club as a whole.
Okay. Senator Dimons, did you still have your hand up for a comment?
Yeah, President Alvarado made a really good point in the chat. She recommended also requiring them to do a written action plan. So as an amendment, again, I'm so sorry. But I would also like to add on to the written action plan onto the current motion.
Can someone explain what that is, please?
Yeah, so basically a written action plan would just be the club writing everything that they would do to prevent the previous events from occurring again. And then it would basically be a contract, I'm assuming. I'm pretty sure where they just ensure that they move through with those actions. It's nothing too insane. It's just a way of keeping future actions in mind and making sure that they're carried out.
Before we move into that greater motion, does anyone have any comments about what Senator Rahman said about the 1300? Okay, I'm sorry, Manal. Senator Fanner first.
Yeah, like what's going on in the chat right now is like Bonnie's talking about they do ticketed events, and I think that's through the USG ticket office. So maybe we could additionally add that we don't initially take the money. I don't really know how to like say this, but like we seize the first like 1.3K they get from like the USG ticket office to as like kind of like a reimbursement from like an outside place. But if they don't like get all that 1.3K back, then like through ticket office sales, then we don't have to like hold like fundraising accountable for it. Only money they make through USG ticket office.
How much do they make from that? And that's like a genuine question.
Um,
Let
Bonnie
me
should
check
have that
for you.
somewhere.
Because 1.3K, I'm not sure if they can make that from ticket office. Or I don't know how
Yeah.
big their events can be.
But like we don't kind of what I was trying to get at is like if they only make like let's say like 500 from USG ticket office, we only take
Mhm.
that 500 and then it would be like 800 from the line budget. So like in a way it's just rotating money around kind of.
I see.
But because
Manal, can
at the
you
end
mute quick?
Oh, sorry.
And
hello.
Lauren.
Oh,
Mhm.
because like in a way it's just like if we take 1.3K from them and they raise 1.3K back, then and they spend that 1.3K in the club, it's not like there's a big difference between like the USG money they spent and their own money they spent if they're both spending it in the same way. Does that make sense? I don't know. That's just like a concept kind of.
Okay. Lots of ideas
Can
going around.
can
Bonnie, what's
I
up?
they did fundraise 1.7K for their for their fashion show last year. Their ticket
For their fashion show alone. Okay, I see. Okay. Senator Iftikhar.
I just feel like all that would just honestly just make it complicated because again, if they can raise that much money, then you have to also consider like the mentality that they'll all be operating out of. You cut 1.3K today. It's over. It's done. They can move on. They can fundraise and then remake any of the money that they lost, and they clearly are capable of doing that. Like with the 1.7K number that we saw. But like, I think doing like this rotational thing and then asking them, okay, then by this time and this time, it just extends the period and drags it out. And again, like, I don't want to say what they're thinking, but again, it just makes this a problem for a longer time than it has to be, right? And now you have this club who could be every time they're raising fundraising money for it, they could be operating from a place of, oh, we're doing this just because we have to pay back USG and USG like doesn't like us, instead of them being like, oh, we're trying to raise more money for our club. You also have to, I think, keep that in mind. Again, I'm a strong advocate for saying a 1.3K budget cut now. So like it's over and everyone can move on and they're more than capable of retaining any money lost through their own fundraising for their club and events.
Thank you, Manal. So, and to your point at that, I think it was kind of general consensus that we take that 1.3 out of their line budget. It's just that that doesn't reimburse USG of the money we lost because of their overspending in the spring. What Lauren, and you know what, as a whole, let's reframe this around what the current motion is, and we can adjust from there for clarity's sake. So the current motion was probation for the academic year, as well as an in-person financial budget training. Now, we would take that 1,300 out of their line budget, and as of what's been most recently stated, we take the remainder from their ticket office until we hit 1.3K. Now, as well as a written action plan. That's a mouthful. do we have any new motions on the table? Because, okay, let's start here. So until stated otherwise, I'm going to assume that all these new motions will include probation for the academic year. And you can tell me if it doesn't. I'm going to assume that it includes in-person financial budget training, and I'm going to assume that it has a written action plan, right? These are all proactive things that they can do to make sure that they're on top of their stuff for this year, because 1.3K is a lot of money. Now, besides that, we can focus only on what's going on with their budget. So are we all in agreement that we should take 1.3K first out of their line budget? This is not reimbursing USG. This is just taking away the 1.3K. Is there
No,
anyone against that? No. No, as in we don't like that. So
I don't
someone's
like
up.
it.
I don't
I
know
don't
who
know. Am I
doesn't like
allowed
it.
to? Am I allowed to speak? I'm not a part of the
Please, yeah,
summer.
Osasi. Yeah, Senator Amine, go ahead.
If USG isn't being reimbursed the money, I don't understand. Because I feel like the training and taking the measures to go and see what they did wrong would be enough. If USG isn't getting reimbursed, you're not helping the club, and I don't know. It just seems like a punishment for someone that they already graduated. So who is it really hurting at the end of the day? The club already got their budget cut as is, so I just don't see the sense in it.
Thank you for your point there. I also do think that this should be a simple solution. And I say that because it should be easy to understand, because if we meddle it with so little, all this jargon, it's going to feel less like a punishment. Oh, it's going to feel less like a learning lesson and more like a punishment. I think it'll just be a bunch of complicated little things that USG is kind of enforcing on our club, especially considering, as Lauren said, that we've have cut their budget in spring budget weekend. Now, there's options. I think that you can go with that ticketing aspect. I haven't heard anybody suggest it. I'm just putting it out there. You can just take 2,600 from their line budget. Now, that's very simple. That's on paper. I'm not saying I agree with that or not, but that's an option. Um, all I want to hear from now on is financial things, no probation, no whatever. Senator Demont, do you have any comments?
Um, I was just gonna recommend maybe doing a roll call on what people would want to do with it. So like I versus nay for the 1,300 removal
That's a
to
good
clear
point.
things up.
Um, do you guys, and this is informal, do you guys agree with this roll call? Can I see some heads shake? Great. Now, Sophia, you're talking about the 1,300 from their line budget. This is not the reimbursement.
That's correct.
Okay, this is a great place to start. Now, PJ, I don't know if you can talk. Am I supposed to do this with just our 10 voting members, or can I do this just as a general consensus thing with all of our senators?
It that's
I know that's
that's
tough,
really
right?
up to you. That's tough because technically you the 10 voting member like it's not going to be like a binding thing, so I would probably recommend just using the voting members, but like if you wanted to do it with everyone, I don't think there's anything like that would stop you from doing that, but like I do think, like you during the year could like ask everyone in the room to like share their thoughts on it. But like ultimately the voting members are going to be the ones making that decision. So I would say maybe stick with the voting members.
Okay. I'm going to ask the voting members what they think. I'm also going to ask the rest of you to communicate what you think. I'm going to take
That's
note of
fine.
what I'm going to take note as an official, almost declaration of an informal opinion. But let's hear what you guys think too, because I don't want to disregard you. Senator Ahmed, are you in favor of taking 1,300 from their line budget, not as a reimbursement?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Senator Arai,
Yes.
Senator Dimont.
Yes.
Okay. Senator Dunn.
Um, can I ask a question or no?
We'll come back to you.
Okay, well, I'm just confused, but okay.
Okay, you know what? Sure, it may clarify for other people. What's up?
Yeah, no, so what you're proposing is that the money is taken back, put back to USG, but we're still technically at net zero or like square one because their USG isn't like necessarily making a profit or anything like that. They're just back to what they should have had in the first place, basically.
I believe so. Is that true, guys? Okay, yes. So that would bring us to net zero, as you were saying, that 1300.
And that's what you're asking me about right now. You're saying, am
That's
I
that's what I'm asking about. Yes. That's just the initial part of it. So maybe we'll go on to discuss punitive measures or anything like that. But
um
I'm asking right now about the 1300 for a net zero.
sure.
Yes. Senator Fanner?
Uh, not no.
No. Okay. Senator Goldsmith?
Yes.
Yes. Senator James?
Is that for it being an option or on the table fully?
I assume this would be completely just, oh, you're
The
asking
only
me what it would imply? This would
is it the
imply that
only
they'd have to.
option? I'm asking, is it the only option or is it one that will be considered in a multitude of options?
I'm asking if you're in favor of this option in particular.
No.
No. Senator Nakagawa?
No.
Senator Iftikhar?
Yes.
Senator Pucha?
No.
No. Okay, let me count this up. Okay, we have four no's and six yeses, which is pretty divided. Great. It's an informal vote. I'm going to take that as we might need to have a little more discussion. To those of us who said no, and only those who said no, can you give me an alternative? Banner.
I honestly don't think we should like punish them monetarily. Like I know that means we lose money, but since it was mostly the actions of people who don't even attend Stony Brook anymore, it kind of feels unfair to like limit this club. And last year they already got limited, partially because of things they had done during the school year. So in a way, the new e-board is already in a way like having less access to money than the last year's did for that reason. So it just feels like an additional kind of unnecessary punishment to me.
Like my message in the chat if you think we should message that we should punish them monetarily.
Wait, I'm sorry. I just need clarification because I think I'm just misunderstanding the words. So when you say punish monetarily, does that mean charging an additional penalty on top of the 1.3K budget
I
cut,
mean
or does
breaking
that just mean
even.
budget
No,
cut?
I'm against like taking any money. So like no 1.3, no like asking them to fundraise even. Like I just feel like what's done is done and in a way like the loss has been lost. I don't know. Because we already lowered their budget so much from the previous year.
Okay, so no budget cut, period. Like not even net zero break even budget cut.
Yeah, because if you compare it to last year, they already got like
Okay.
12K off or something.
Okay.
Bonnie, can I ask why we lowered their budget last year to 12K?
Yeah, so basically, if you didn't know already, their fashion show costs about 14K for just one event, and with only about 180 attendees. So last year, the senators felt like this is it's a lot of money for one person, and that's why their budget got cut. It's not because, it's mostly on their attendance, like the comparison between their attendance and how much they use towards those events.
Caitlin, do you have a point to relate?
I was just saying that I don't think I think there should be some like they should give something back, some money back because it's a lot of money that's gone. And again, Manal was saying how it's the students' money. It's not just like the money's there and it's like disappear and we forget about it because that's also shows what if they do this again? We have to like make them accountable for the things that they did. That's what I think.
Okay, let me entertain a motion and we can work from here. And let me know if you guys agree or disagree. We're gonna go flat, um, have them pay 1.3K from their line budget, probation, in-person financial budget training, and a written action plan. This has no additional reimbursements. This is just taking 1.3K to go even. I'm entertaining that motion. Okay,
So
nobody.
moved.
Any seconds?
Second.
Any dissent? Okay. I say this with caution. Any dissent on, not dissent, any discussion on this. I want to be clear what we're doing here and what I'm suggesting here. Similarly to what we kind of did with ASU last year, because Kalen's kind of right. We established some kind of precedent of taking money, and personally, I don't think we should just kind of let this go, especially because it's more money on the table, if that makes sense. Okay. There's a very big difference between evening out and going the next step. Now, the motion on the table, which it's not on the table now, it's actually established. It's probation for the academic year, taking 1.3K from their line budget, an in-person financial budget training, and a written action plan from their 4E board core. No discussion on that. Are we okay here?
So if somebody wanted to dissent, they can't dissent no more, right? I remember last year they were able to if they wanted to. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. Yeah, no, that's okay. I said that before.
I
So
wanted
any
to.
dissent?
I
What's
just
up?
no, it just doesn't sit right with me. I feel like if we tell them, oh, you don't have to pay the money back, nothing will be learned or nothing. I just don't think that's the right.
Arguably, I mean, okay, you know what? I'm not supposed to give opinions
No,
here.
no, no, no. Give your thoughts, please.
Arguably, they had 20K last year. They have 12K now.
Mm-hmm.
And taking the 1,300 from their line budget would even us out. And that wouldn't have happened had they not transgressed this in the spring. I would say, in a sense, it is akin to a punishment. Regardless of whether or not we say this is a punishment from us, they have been kind of punished as a club. They're
Mm-hmm.
taking the burden of a financial loss that they had last spring. That's something that they're going to have to deal with as an e-board, and that's something that's going to ring for years after last spring budget weekend. Does anyone share Kalen's view that we should go another step past that 1.3K on their line budget? I'm repeating, does anybody have anything to add? And is anyone confused?
Sorry, just to clarify. So, Kaylin, are you suggesting that we give larger than a 1,300 penalty or less than?
I'm saying that if we give them the 1,300 penalty, right, then wouldn't that money, it would just be removed. It wouldn't be as if there was something missing, if that makes sense. Is that correct? The money that was lost wouldn't be replaced.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? So is that really, we're not giving them a penalty, if that makes sense. They're just getting away with all the money that was lost. I understand that it wasn't the people on this e-board, but again, you have to everybody in your party, whether core four, has to be on the same page. So it's really confusing to me how someone who was already on the e-board, who's on the e-board now, was in the e-board last year and doesn't have all the information. That we can't control that. It's on the whole party, like the whole group's fault, because they all should have been in touch with each other and should have communicated everything.
Can I ask Bonnie to clarify the exact details of ASU's punishment last spring?
Yeah, but the thing is, like ASU's was a little different because we
Okay,
haven't
yeah,
paid it and they haven't paid anything either. We're
right.
still over. But do you still want me to go into it?
Do you have any comments?
Um, so for ASU, just to give everyone context, I believe they were trying to buy merchandise and they already ordered merchandise from a vendor before even us approving the invoice request. And it does go over the gift cap, so we couldn't approve for the full amount. And but they already ordered it and there was no going back and the package already came without even being paid for. So and after they were requesting us to pay for it. So we did give them the option if they wanted to pay for it like for the amount above the $50 cap, or will, will cover everything but take a penalty on top of it. They decided to go with the second option. But honestly, in my opinion, this is really different. This they already spent the money. I
Yeah.
know like there's like confusions on the definition of it like being lost and stuff. Like at the end of the day, like if they don't pay us out of pocket, it's a loss on us. But if we take 1.3K from their line budget, it's a loss on them only. Or like I'll repeat that. Like if we don't get reimbursed for the 1.3K, like it's like being reimbursed doesn't mean like they're just reimbursing with their line budget. Like their line budget money is still the student activity money. It's still our pool of money. So
So you're
I don't know where
suggesting
else.
that like
Yeah.
somehow fundraising is the only way we can actually resolve that and get
Like
our money back as USG because line budget
it is
wouldn't do that.
it is the only way, but we can decide on if we want to do that. Because we know we understand like it might be really hard. It is the only way. If we're being like if we're like all adults and like in maybe like in the adult world whatever, like if you use your money to buy personal stuff, like you should pay for it. You should pay for it back because like those are unauthorized. But like we understand your students, they do a lot for, our campus. Like we can decide on if we want to do that. We know it's really harsh on them. I was saying like we can even like just make them or have them fundraise back for the items that they didn't provide receipts for because we don't know if they're actually for the fashion show, and maybe they have kept the items already. We don't know that, and they should have kept them in their storage, club storage, and reuse it for other years. But it's really up to you, I would say.
Can I ask Christine if she wants to say anything about the fundraising? Christine, are you here?
I'm here and home, so hopefully I won't sound like I'm underwater.
You sound great.
Hello. Hi everyone. I haven't got to meet folks yet. Thanks, Ross, for the introduction before, and sorry that I was sounding underwater. I was driving home. But yeah. So here's my overall, executive TLDR summary of my points that I'm trying to make. One, regardless of any sort of actual policy and authority, you set a precedent with ASU and should be being consistent here. And the precedent with ASU was that we gave them the option. There was not additional charges for things. It was net zero. You shouldn't be trying to profit off students because ultimately, if the money is restored and there's no loss to USG, the money's restored, problem solved. Two, however they choose to do that, whether that's through charging more for ticketed events, having some other events that aren't typically ticketed, be ticketed, fundraising, what have you, or having it come on their line budget is their choice. Who are we to tell them how to manage that and what makes the most sense for them to how to manage it? Three, you cannot charge individual students. You don't have any authority over individual students. My department doesn't have authority over individual students. The only people who can charge individual students are university police, community standards, and actual local law enforcement. That is it. So I don't know why we're discussing that. It's literally not an option. It's not enforceable. You don't have that authority. It cannot be done. That's it.
When you say that, you extend that to fundraising. You extend that to ticket office. Is that
What do you mean?
you say we can't charge students individually, but you seem resoundingly against the idea of taking that money from our ticketing offices or making them fundraise that amount.
No, I'm saying give them the option to do whatever they want there, and that's their choice. But again, like because I know there was a discussion before too about like having it just be through ticketing, which I wouldn't do that. I would strongly encourage you not to do that because then that could really like, again, it's different of like, I'm choosing to buy this cool food item from you as a choice in the lobby from the fundraiser you're doing, as opposed to this event that I was normally able to go to. Now there's a charge with it, or it's even more expensive than it ever was, and I can't go to it. Like, I wouldn't limit the options of how they have to be able to fundraise. Well, however they choose to get the money back, whatever they do, like should be up to them if that's the route that you all go. Again, ultimately, this is all your like whatever you decide, as long as it's within actual university policy, is your decision. But you can't violate university policy, and you cannot tell mame anyone else that they owe you money. You can't do that. You can't enforce it. It's not possible. So that's where like there's the like
it's not a vote. If it's not a vote, it's not your choice. You can't do it. Everything else, I could give my opinions and all of that. It's ultimately your choice, but like you cannot charge individual students.
Okay, I'm going to entertain a motion to what we had previously. So the 1,300 from their line budget, probation, in-person financial budget training, and a written action plan, along with the option to fundraise $1,300 or to take it out of their line budget. This is additional to the original 1,300 we're taking out of their line budget.
So moved.
Any seconds?
Second.
I would dissent to that. I think
What's
like
up?
I had the same issue with ASU last year. I just feel like when you give them the option of like between something that like requires individual students to put in time and effort to do, which is basically the same of like having them pay out of pocket, because like they have to put in their time, their energy to like fundraise money, and like the option of like kind of like the easy way, I guess, is just like taking it out of line budget. Can put them in like a personal conflict in which like there I just feel like it's an awkward situation to put a lot of people, because the e-board isn't just like one individual. It's like I think they have a pretty big one too, like 10 or so people in a situation in which like they have to make a personal decision and they all have to agree with it. And I just feel like it could cause conflicts and that like we should just have one decisive thing for them to do. And I know it's what we did with ASU, but I also didn't agree with it then. So that's just kind of my feelings on it.
Personally, and this holds equal weight to what Lauren is saying. With regard to kind of that struggle that she mentions with the club having to decide to make their members pay through fundraising or to take it out of their line budget. I think they signed up for that when they bought 1.3K extra of stuff that's gone. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't even know how we can move forward with this. Azim, do you have anything to say that's new?
I mean, I'm just piggybacking on what Christine was saying because it doesn't really matter where the money comes from as long as we get it. So giving them the option is it's on them. If they want to fundraise it, they can fundraise it, or we can take it out of their line budget.
Okay, Lauren.
I also kind of want to say, and Bonnie already said this, but like it is, I know like there's discussions in multiple different places, but like it's a loss because at the end of the day, they spent like USG, like student activity fee students' money on something that they were not authorized to spend. So even if we take that money back through the line budget, it's like still a loss because of that. Like we still don't gain that value back, and that still is like an unauthorized purchase. And just because like we take that 1.3K back doesn't mean that 1.3K wasn't spent, because we're going to spend that 1.3K on like a different club or something. And yeah, we don't know what they spent it on, but like what we do know is that like they were not supposed to spend it at all. So I think that's what Bonnie was getting at when she was like, as long as we take only from like the line budget, we are at a loss. And if they pay it back, that's when we like break even. And that's also kind of why I know I've already said this, but like I feel like no matter what, it doesn't like matter. Like it doesn't break even. But yeah,
Would you be in favor of requiring the fundraising rather than giving them an option for line budget or not?
I am all like I'm not in, I'd rather just take from their line budget because like I do think in a way like in Bonnie's own words, it was like if we make them fundraise and like that's like a punishment on them because they're paying us back the money. So I don't think we should like punish them, but in that sense. So I think if we're going to take money from them, it should be from line budget.
Okay, we're going to have a vote on this with our voting members, but first I'm going to ask Justin to say what he needs to say.
I still don't think we should take it out of the line budget. It's at the end of the day, it's USG money, and they spent money. They spent USG money, and taking out of the line budget still, it's still our money. It's been our money, and will be our money. So there's 1,300 missing, wherever it is. And it's more so just, I think it's taking out the line budget makes no sense because it doesn't create a net zero. I don't think it does. It's still, there's still missing money. But in terms like the fundraising or whatever the ticketing, I'm not sure how the ticketing works exactly. I'm not too 100% clear on that. But like there's got to be, I feel like there's got to be some sort of reimbursement from the club, whether it's that fundraising, some of it to the ticket. Now is it 1,300 whatever, like is there a timeline? I don't know. That's something up for discussion, obviously, but I don't think it should be taken out of the line budget.
We have three options, okay? It's the 1,300 from their line budget purely alone. It's the 1,300 plus extra from fundraising, and it's 1,300 plus more from their line budget. Okay? These are our three options. Does that make sense to all of us?
Russell, can I say something? I don't know if anyone saw my combination idea, but what if we just remove 1,000 and we have them, I don't know if we can make them fundraise, but we remove the 1,000 and we make them fundraise at least 300. So they can keep everything else they make from the fundraiser, but they have to at least give us back the 300, which adds to the total of the 1.3K.
I think before we have that discussion, and that's a good point, I think we should decide whether we even want to have them pay that extra, if that makes sense, past the 1.3K out of their line budget. So does that make sense? We're going to be having a vote on that right now. Okay? Informal to our voting members. The options are just 1,300 out of their line budget, nothing else. I think this is kind of what Lauren was kind of touching on. 1,300 plus fundraising extra to cover back what they took from USG, or 1,300 and their line budget, as in we take 2,600 from their line budget. Do these options make sense to our voting members? Yes. Okay. Senator Ahmed, which one do you prefer?
I think the 1,300 and the fundraiser to return the money back to USG.
Senator Arai.
I think we simply take out 1.3 thousand from their line budget.
Senator Dimon.
Just 1.3 out of line budget.
Senator Dunn.
1.3 and the fundraising.
Senator Fanner.
Just 1.3 out of line budget.
Wait, I meant 1,000 and the fundraising, not 1.3 and the fundraising. I don't know if that's like can be done.
Okay.
But
Senator Goldsmith.
Just the 1.3 out of their line budget.
Senator James.
1.3 and the fundraising.
Senator Nakagawa.
I'll be with Senator Dunn here.
Okay. Senator Iftikhar.
Just the 1.3K line budget cut.
Senator Pucha.
Only the 1.3 from the line budget.
Okay. Give me a second to count these. It's 6-4. Oh, PJ, it's an informal vote. We're going to go majority here. Okay. 1,300 is our motion. Okay. We already kind of discussed all these different options. And at this point, we're running back in circles. Okay. We've been debating on this. And the majority of our voting members conclude that they just want to use that 1,300. That's bearing in mind that they've lost money from spring budget weekend. That's bearing in mind that we're going to make them do a plethora of different activities to ensure that they're going to be doing things more properly in the future. Okay. Now, can someone make that motion?
Motion to add on to what we already have with the probation and written action plan, a penalty of 1.3K from their line budget.
Second.
Seconds. Okay. That's the motion. Motion is 1,300 from their line budget, probation, in-person financial budget training, and a written action plan from their core four. Okay. We're going to be doing a vote on this. Now, remember, it's not a question as to whether we do additional fundraising. I don't want to hear any nays because you prefer that, because we've discussed this, you know? This also touches on a good point. There's a lot of people in this meeting, and that's a lot of money that we're all clocked. Now, this is a complicated scenario, so I wanted to give everyone time to talk it out. but sometimes we need to be a little cutthroat with these things. Everyone knows the motion? Great. Roll call vote. Senator Ahmad.
Aye.
Aye. Senator Arai.
Aye.
Senator Dimont.
Aye.
Senator Dunn.
Aye.
Senator Fanner.
Aye.
Senator Goldsmith. I didn't hear that. Sorry.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Senator James.
Abstain.
Senator Nakagawa.
Aye.
Senator Iftikhar.
Aye.
And Senator Pucha.
Aye.
Aye. This passes. Okay. Thank you guys for working this all out. I know this is like probably one of the more, this is usually things that are done in the spring. Good job, everyone. We're going to be bringing back the e-board. Give it 60 seconds. I know they've waited a long time. They're probably like done with us. Are you guys here? Can someone from,
Yes.
Hi. Okay, so the Senate has voted. What you guys are going to do is you're going to have probation for the academic year, which is that oversight from USG. It's not punitive. There's going to be 1,300 revoked from your line budget for the academic year to cover those losses. There's going to be an in-person financial budget training for your e-board, as well as a written action plan from your core four, just to clear up, and we'll go into details later with Bonnie in a private meeting, but to clear up your plans for the academic year with regard to distributing the budget. Okay, this was the decision of the Senate. I thank you guys for waiting a long time, and we'll definitely be in contact, me personally, as well as our EC, to work with you guys to make sure this doesn't happen again and that you guys are being treated well. So thank you guys so much for the wait.
I do have a question. So you said that 1,300 will be deducted from our line budget. So are we essentially losing more money?
This is coming from your already 12K line budget. So yes, money would be removed from your line budget.
I had a follow-up question. I'm sorry, maybe I like misunderstood what you guys were saying
That's
before.
okay. Yeah. What's up?
Sorry, I think we were all under the impression that if we were to be placed on like probation, it would be a limited use of our funds, not like a reduction of funds.
I think probation this is in addition to probation. So probation is basically assisted USG oversight of how your funds are going to be distributed. It's basically making sure that they're spent well, but that would keep your entire budget. Now, in addition to this, we employed a 1,300 out of your line budget to cover the losses from last spring when the funds were spent. Does anyone have a better way to describe this? Because I feel like I'm kind of butchering it. Manal, go ahead.
Okay, hi guys. So basically, we first just discussed probation, and what probation basically is it's essentially like a version of PBC. You guys are aware what PBC is, right? Are they there?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Okay, yeah, so it's basically like PBC, right? You go line by line, you detail and list out every single item that you wish to utilize for your events, for your club, and all that. So essentially, basically like PBC, right? And you're going to be doing that for a year. Now, after we voted on that, then we discussed if we want to place any like punitive measures, and that came after, right? So that is also at the discretion of Senate. At that, USG did face a loss of 1.3K because those were unapproved funds. And so essentially what we did from there is keeping in mind that 1.3K is coming from the student activity fee, it wouldn't be fair to the students paying the student activity fee for that 1.3K to disappear. So essentially it has to come from somewhere to account for that loss. So from there, we essentially cut that 1.3K out of the line budget. And then on top of that, there's just
training for the year that you guys will have to go through, in-person training, as well as a detailed action plan on how you guys are going to ensure that this incident won't repeat. Does that make any sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay, great, awesome. I also just wanted to quickly add, sorry, Russell.
What's up? Make it quick.
USG is like, I understand like these meetings are not fun to attend, but USG like is here for you. I really would encourage you to like please do reach out to Treasury, to senators, to people like that to discuss and approve. And like we're very cognizant that you guys are an amazing club doing a lot of amazing events on campus, and we do want to see you keep doing that.
Okay.
We will
So,
reach out to you guys.
okay.
We will. Okay.
I
Don't
was,
worry about that. We'll be very communicative. I'll make sure of it personally. And
okay.
if you're ever confused, we can definitely meet on Zoom in the future. That being said, there are about 30 something people on payroll right now, live. Let's move on with the agenda. From those of you from BWA, I really appreciate you coming. We will, I promise, figure out the exact details of this in a later meeting, but that is what Senate has voted on, and that's what's going to happen. We will be in contact. So you guys feel free to stay, or you guys feel free to go. And thank you
Okay.
again.
Thank you once again.
Of course. Have a great day. Okay, we're gonna move on. Thank goodness we're done with business. Reports, Executive Council Summer Reports. Now, we do this thing called EC reports, which is basically when EC tells you guys what we are doing in our respective offices. I've hired 2 people. In fact, you guys just approved one of them. But a lot of different offices have different things going on, and it's your guys' right to hear from us what we do. That is EC reports. There will be a presentation, a slideshow. Expect that in the first Senate meeting on the 28th. Great, great. Manal, did you want to talk about the rave? And be quick.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. Hi guys, so we're or if you haven't heard me yap already, we're doing, I don't know for people who saw, but we did have a rave at Stoller, VP Irfan, and Senator Yadav and myself. We did a rave last year on Stoller. It was a very chill event. There was just like music and dancing and just a great opportunity to wrap up the semester. We're essentially doing that again, but on Monday, the first day of school. This is a great way to kick off the semester, but with like more food items and just to make it better and improve the experience overall and build on what we learned from previous event. So there is a staffing sheet attached to the summer Senate agenda. I can put another link in the chat after the meeting just for convenience. But I essentially divided it by short increments, like 30-minute increments. It's a very chill event. Honestly, guys, it's not any sort of like really difficult kind of staffing. We have stuff like passing out water bottles, passing out food, line control. A lot of our staff last year also was able to staff and also just enjoy music and the event, talk to friends, etc. And it's just a great way to get involved on the very first day without, an event that might seem intimidating in terms of staffing. And if you guys have any questions, like please feel free to always reach out to me on the G chat or VP Fan, or Senator Yadav or Senator Mahmel. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Christine, we'll do that in the future. I'll let Godsake talk in a second. Essentially, we're throwing a rave on the first day of school. It's going to be crazy. You guys arguably should want to help us out because raves are cool and USG is cool. And there's a DJ and a fog machine and there's cool people there. And we're going to have hopefully a guy in a shark costume. And maybe that could be one of you. Godsake, Senator Yadav, please add something very quickly.
Yeah, just to add to that, we also put a Spotify playlist link on the Google form so that you guys can all send in recommendations and songs you guys want to hear at the event.
Thank you. Just help us all out. You guys are going to be having events of your own in the future, and I guarantee you, we'll be right there by your side. And this extends to Wolfieland, this extends to all of those things. Senate can feel very impersonal, especially over the summer. We are a very tight-knit community, and we work best when we help each other out. It's 3 hours. It's going to be a good time. Moving forward, Red Day staffing forum. Sebastian, are you here? Do you want to talk on that? I don't think Sebastian.
Sorry,
He's here.
my bad. Sorry, I had my headset off. Can you just
You're
repeat that
good.
real quick?
Do you want to talk on the Red Day staffing forum? That's in the announcement section.
Um, Red Day.
Red Day.
Um, isn't that you guys? Or do you mean Wolfie Land?
Okay, let's talk Red Day. Red Day is the best day ever. It is a day and it's red, and it's on Friday. It's the first Friday of school, and it's going to be a chance for everyone to pop out and see what USG is all about. Because of that, there's going to be lip sync contests, there's going to be food, there's going to be all these different great amenities for Red Day. If you guys have been students and you're not sophomores, which I don't know if many of you, I think most of you have been here for a little bit. Um, Fridays, people wear red on Stony Brook. It's like our Red Friday. It's like a little tradition thing. We're trying to expand that on the first week of school, and it would be really appreciated, again, if you can volunteer to staff. Not even volunteering, you're getting paid. So bear that in mind. Again, we help each other all out. Okay. Whenever you guys have events that you want to run based on your Senate line or something like that, you bet your ass that we're going to help out. So repay the favor. What did Christine say? Okay, sorry. She DM'd me. Okay, going forward, we have standing committee assignments. Okay. Now, if you click on that link, and believe me, this is not to cause any conflict. This is annoying. Okay, I know this. EC has decided based on them texting you when their standing committees are going to be, and I understand that some of these aren't ideal. Um, what you guys are going to do is look at what you can make and what you prefer and put your names in. This is the combined, and you have access to this right now. So I suggest you do that very quickly. If you have any problems, please talk to me after the meeting. I know this doesn't fit with some of your schedules, and it's in the Senate agenda, Fayez. You're going to put your name under the committee that you can both make and the one that you're interested in doing. When we created these times, we took into consideration what works for the majority of people, but also what's convenient and what's practical. Okay. Some of you are going to get your second, third choice. We can't do much about that. And I promise you, you can always move committees sometime in the future. This isn't very permanent. Okay. So I ask that all of you here, by sometime at the end of the day, unless you talk to me, put your name in one of these. We need quorum. Okay. And we're going to meet on the first week of school. Okay. Any questions should come to me right after the meeting. Okay. And this, believe me, on EC has been kind of a logistical nightmare, working together like 26 different schedules, including our own. Okay. I will leave that to you guys. I will remind you after the meeting as well to fill it out. Perfect. Senate rep program. I ask that all of you either fill out the standing committee form later or whatever, but I want you to look at this. Senate rep program is something that came from myself and my office. We are proposing to have each senator kind of be in contact alongside EC with a small amount of clubs. Okay. Because a lot of times, especially with regard to these hearings where clubs aren't necessarily satisfied with USG and our communication, a direct line would solve a lot of these issues. What I personally plan on establishing is some kind of Slack where each senator is kind of in charge of directing clubs to respective EC members or answering very basic questions about their budgets to them. Okay. Now, you can look at the link and you can click the link that I have in club categories. You can see there's a bunch of them, and I'm giving you guys all five or four, I forget what, the options for your preferences. I know some of you are involved in sports clubs, and these are all the registered student organizations. So they're basically the line budget clubs, Maisha. Um, God willing, if this is successful, we'll move it on to PBC. I don't want to put too much work on you senators. This already sounds like a full-time job. Your job is to answer very simple questions and redirect issues to EC. This is just to facilitate communication, and it's a shame that we don't have a Slack chat or a Discord for all these clubs on campus regardless, okay? If you play professional badminton and you want to take on a club category that deals with sports clubs, please feel free because you're acquainted with them. If you are great at crocheting, please take on an art or creative one, stuff like that. You can't choose one that you're part of EC in. So if you're in EC of Cantonese Club, you can't apply to category 3. This is a pilot program of my own. Hopefully it works. EC will also be very involved with it. Best case scenario, we establish a very direct line of communication with all these clubs. We have people say Gatik is a rep of College Democrats. They come in for a presentation for Senate. Gatik is leaving the room, shaking their hands, saying, I'm Gatik. I get your problems. I understand who you guys are and I appreciate you. We're not, we don't bite. It's just a way to like facilitate communication. I won't speak more on it. I ask that you all fill this out. Again, there will be a reminder on this. Um, one sec. I'm just gonna answer a DM. Any questions on those two? Standing committees rep, talk to me later. We need to end this meeting soon. Great. Um, we are now moving on to open agenda. Does anyone have any comments, anything they'd like to say? Ooh, is that Christine? Did you want to speak?
I do. Hi. So I just wanted to jump in, and I know this is my first meeting for you all. This happened last summer too, where then my first meeting, I then was like all in the chat about a WASB vote that I had a lot of thoughts on. I swear I'm really not scary. For those who don't know me, I just care a lot about this and you all doing right. So I just want to go back to the BWA thing, because Weenie Ann was valid in her question that we really assured them that this wouldn't be punitive and that their budget wouldn't be impacted. And then the second they left and we went into discussion, not only did we impact their budget, we were actually debating like doubling the amount that they owed us, which is not honoring who we are. And I could definitely very much impact how clubs feel about USG. So I really want y'all to reflect on what happened today and the evolution of what went on. Again, ultimately it was your decision, but like we shouldn't be assuring clubs one thing and then psych, just kidding. um, that's not great. That's not great. And they have a right to feel a way about that. So I don't make promises that you're not going to keep, because then that breaks trust. So I really think there should be some reflection there, and some introspect on like why there was even discussion about real, like we went from like no of course not punitive to then like wanting to double the amount. Like I just, it really took a turn. It was troubling. I encourage you all to reflect on it. Clubs and students have a lot to say about USG, and y'all know that. And everyone should be collectively committed to trying to dispute that and have your actions and your decisions like be what you say you're standing for. That's all.
Thank you, Christine. And this is a lesson that was going to happen one way or another. Um, this happened when I was a senator, and Christine was saying on a WSB vote, this was our radio station on campus. It was a big deal. It's still kind of a big deal, you know? We need to bear in mind how we speak to clubs and how we interact with them because they carry that far beyond what we think it'll be carried. But I want to also, on a more positive note, so don't disregard all that reflection. Um, I appreciate all of you giving your ideas. I appreciate you guys all questioning things that were confusing because this was confusing. This isn't something that typically happens on a summer Senate meeting. This is something that happens in the semester when we're knee deep in budgets and legislation and everything. It will get easier and you'll become more confident and you can do some really cool things in this position. So don't feel intimidated. Anyone else have anything for open agenda?
I have a more positive update. Next week's welcome week, pull up. For those of you who are working, thank you. It's going to be really exciting. For those who aren't working but live local, pull up. We have so much fun things going on. I'm excited for you all to be back and to work with you all. But yeah, pull up if you're near, because you can come too, even though you're not a new student. So yeah, and see y'all soon.
Woo! Yay, welcome week.
Senator Rothman.
Just to clarify, is this to just put things out into the open for future purposes?
Open agenda, speak your mind.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
So I was thinking, we've had a lot of confusion about what we should do on how to reimburse or not reimburse, based off of the financial bylaws. And, we've been saying like, oh, we should put it onto like the e-board members or not, right? I feel like we should really put proper language and not put the financial bylaws up to interpretation anymore because right now I feel like a lot of us have been confused, I myself. And so we shouldn't put leave it up to interpretation anymore. That's pretty much what I want to say.
I agree that with regard to issues like these, there should be established some kind of precedent. And I agree that it would make things easier and fairer because things like this are bound to happen again. Um, that is a legislative issue. So any of you with legislation, regardless of not whether or not you're in LegVet, talk to me and we're going to figure something out. Okay? And thank you, Maisha. That's a good point. Nothing else? Anybody? Anybody. It's a good thing. No one wants to talk.
Can I say something?
Hell yeah. Let's hear it.
So you said an open agenda, right?
Open, yeah. Freestyle.
I just want to throw a reminder. Wolfie Land. I know I'm gonna keep talking about it. I will repeat. If everyone brings it up earlier, I'll repeat it again. Staffing. If you haven't filled out the form, fill it out. It's in the announcements chat. Keep an eye out for that. And there's also that bracelet form. I highly suggest filling that out too. It's some fun stuff. You guys are gonna get shirts, enjoy it. Um, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. There's gonna be a lot more coming up too, so keep an eye out for announcements. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Sebastian. Senator Siddiqui.
I was gonna say, do we have anything where we keep track of like previous presidents or anything like that?
Besides the bylaws or
Yeah,
legislative
because
or governing docs?
because I feel like I mean people have been voting on stuff for years, obviously, and
Mhm.
stuff like I guess like this vote that we just did is it's not really something that's in the bylaws, but it's just something that people have because we were reflecting on the previous ASA vote, and I mean 3, 4, 5 years down the line when all of us are graduated, like people aren't gonna remember this. So I mean, if we have anything like that, or we could maybe make something like that.
Again, I agree with the whole idea of setting precedents for these things. It's always good and it's always fair to do so. At the same time, no two situations with these clubs are alike, and somewhat of me is suspicious that inevitably we're going to kind of dive into these nitty-gritty details that almost disqualify clubs and their situations from a specific bylaw. I think that ultimately leads to the discretion of the Senate what the punishment is, and that's why that big thing that big precedent overrules all these little ones. That's not to like disqualify what you were saying though. I think there's definitely a lot of truth in it, and I think there's work to be done with regard to standardizing how we treat clubs in these kinds of processes, and especially with the attitudes that we have towards them. Um, that was a lot of gap though on my end. We're gonna figure out specific bylaws that we can employ, and we'll be practical about them. Text me. Okay, no more open agenda unless anyone's screaming out from their soul to talk. I'm going to call this meeting to a close at 10:10 p.m. All of y'all clock out. All of y'all put in the sheet that we're ending at 10:10. And our next Senate meeting is going to be on Thursday, August 28th, the first week of school. And all of our standing committees will be on that week too. So a lot coming. It's going to hit you like you don't expect it. The USG just got real. Um, fill out the standing committee form. Fill out all these different forms in the Senate agenda. I will annoy you guys about that. Oh my God, we need a motion. I'm so sorry. My head is cooked.
Motion to end meeting at 10:10.
Second.
Second.
I had to mess something up, right? Okay. Thank you guys. You can go now. It's late. Let's get some sleep.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Everybody.
Good night.
And
I'm gonna stand if anyone has any questions.
I had a quick question.
What's up?
So I saw on, I think because I was doing with the University Affairs, your like committee for veg like works for me best, but I know we have like once a month the meeting for the student athletics team. How does that like work? Does that matter?
You can tell me again what time the athletics one is.
This is 7. Because
Okay,
like yours is 6:30 to 8.
you can sit out. It's okay. It's once a month and it's fine. Okay. I
Oh,
was gonna ask, you are very initiative heavy. You don't wanna do UA?
it doesn't fit in my schedule.
Okay.
I was doing UA, but I know lead veg was my second choice, so it still works.
Okay, jump in then.
And then I had a different question. It was about the nap room thing. Should I email you separately?
Dude, whatever's more annoying on my end, do that so I can like pay attention to it and like work on it.
Okay.
Okay? Because like if you like do like a little discreet email, I am not responding like do that.
I told her to include you in the Zoom, and then she never includes you or Eche in the email. She like
That's
ignored me.
annoying. Okay, Etch is more important than me for the record, but I'm still happy to help.
Okay.
So just throw me in, dog. Oh my God, wait. I need to clock out. One sec, Carly. I'm sorry. Are you done, Samara?
Yeah, I'll just
How's
see.
work, bro?
Okay, bye.
Bye. What's up, Carly?
Hey, I had, I think it was like maybe two, three questions.
Let's hit
So,
them.
so with the standing committee Google